What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on Sunday, Easter Sunday, that is. I hope you guys have had your fill of chocolate and family time. I'm happy to see we got folks in the chat already, and we got an epic panel of the guys here to talk some Hot Toys news, entertainment news, and all of the things in between. So, guys, of course, with that said, let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Okay, so we're getting a second week appearance of this gentleman, and I've got a story with regards to his clothing that I'm going to share later, and it's not my clothing, it's just a story attached to it. But let's bring out the luck of the Irish, not so lucky, always lucky, let's be honest. Shane, one six-figure focus, love to see you here, buddy. Welcome back to the show.
So just to be clear, the story is not about my clothing specifically, but about the brand Volcom.
It was a little bit confusing.
Okay. I didn't realize I actually
You're
hate
actually
this.
super decked out right now.
I actually rarely, I don't do that. I think that's really, really cheesy when people do it. But I was at home at the weekend and I got this hat. I had it at home for years and I got it and I don't like the way I look like I'm sponsored by Volcom, but I do like Volcom.
Do you ever wear hats backwards at all, or
No, I'm too Irish for that.
Fair enough.
I don't even like when if I get onto a stream and it looks slightly off to the side. I hate that. I'm not that guy.
Interesting. I purposely
caps
tilt
fine,
mine to the
BB.
left just a little bit sometimes, but
You're a gangster, man. You're a straight up gangster, baller.
this or that, this Ben or that Ben, you hate to see it. Good to see you here, buddy. You got wine on the go. I'm still drinking morning coffee, so just goes to show you how cool time zones are. But with that said, of course, let's bring in Mr. Jose G. Hernandez. Jose Plus, welcome back, good sir. It's been a couple of weeks since I saw you last, and of course, I was ragging on you pretty hard in the chat the other night. You were ragging on me pretty hard, to the point where the Jedi Knights Watch over at the Wolfpack Wednesday were like, we're just going to let them fight it out in the chat. So good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
It's always fun. It's always fun to take a little jabs at you just for fun, but it's all fun and games, you know?
Of course. And yeah, we were on Wolfpack Wednesday. If you guys have been missing that show weekly, definitely get over there and check out the gang over there. It's really fun to see those guys. As well as the Hope Show on Monday, which I keep missing because I'm always at work, which is really annoying.
Yes.
But one of these days I'll take a Monday off. So
Face to Facts segments on Monday.
Love to see it. Love to see
Right,
it.
Shane?
Good to see you
face
here,
the
buddy.
fact checker.
Now, of course, we got another panelist backstage, and he classes up the joint pretty often. And one might call him SpongeBob SquareBowels, but I like to call him Classy Thomas, back in the house with us. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Doing good. It's good to see you and our panelists here today. And, nice to see Shane looking nice and cheesy over there. And the big G over here, Jose Plus. So, it's always good to see you guys on Sunday where we can sit and have
Good
a
to see
little
you,
fun
Classy.
together.
I like how you're fanning yourself, too, like a boss.
It's hot
Like
up here,
absolute
man.
boss.
It is hot, man. It even gotten warm up here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
Classy's got his
man.
legs out under those desks. You can see it. You can see it now.
Yeah, I tell you, I need to. I got my dog sitting on my lap. She's taking up residence here, so of course I have to sit as still as possible.
Always good to see you boys. Thank you for coming back, especially on Easter Sunday. I'm sure lots of folks are spending the time with their family right now. So if you happen to be watching this show on the replay, thank you for also still doing that and tuning in when you got the opportunity to check us out later. But with the folks that are here with us, thanks for joining us as well, and happy Easter to you guys as well there. Now, Shane, I want to start with 2 warm-ups today, but I was surprised how available you were. This sounds like a really unintelligent question, but I honestly don't know. Do you guys celebrate Easter in Ireland as well, or is that like not a thing for you guys? I honestly don't know. I apologize for being so dumb.
Well, like Ireland by tradition has a very, very strong Catholic and Christian religious culture. Now, it's nowhere near as strong as it was. I'm not a religious person. It's nowhere near as strong as it was, say, like for the last hundreds and thousands of years. The Catholic Church would have controlled a lot of essentially the finances in Ireland and stuff like that. So yeah, Easter's a thing, and Ireland has a lot of Catholics, a lot of Christians, and the Easter would be celebrated. So it's still whether you're religious or not, a lot of people would spend Easter Sunday with their families and stuff like that, and who doesn't like chocolate? So yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's a hard time for me, honestly, because chocolate is like my kryptonite. It's like I can be going real smooth at the gym for a while. You put a piece of chocolate in front of me, I'm like, I'll cheat. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. Tell me about an Easter tradition that you've had in the past, then, Shane. Has there ever been anything like special or anything that you recall from even childhood that stands out to you when it comes to Easter Day?
Do you know what a Cadbury's cream egg is? Of
course.
All right. Okay. So like, and the whole thing is the Easter bunny hides the eggs, and then you get up in the morning and you search around your house and you find where your eggs are. My mom used to hide like a few Cadbury's cream eggs around the house. They could be in your cereal. You'd be pouring out your cereal and one would fall out, or it could be like I don't know, in your drawer for when you're getting dressed and you'd find it there or something like that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. I thought you were gonna say it leaked into a sock or something, and you stuck your foot in it at one point. I expected that to be a lot dirtier of a story. I don't know why.
No. Your word, man, not mine.
Fair enough. Jose, any Easter traditions that stand out for you, buddy? Any memories from this day in the past, or not really?
Not really. It's always going to church. They always have potlucks on Sundays, and there's always a bunch of food, especially Hispanics, churches. So it's a lot of food, a lot of people bringing food, and so that's kind of and then growing up, I do remember, like in grade school, they would give you the egg and then you'd paint it, so you'd have your individual eggs. I always liked drawing my Marvel or DC characters on the eggs. So, that's kind of it. I don't, not much, not much else. No, not much of a tradition.
I may need to readopt the egg painting thing. I was like a hidden talent I had as a kid, and I haven't done it in years,
yeah.
But
it was fun.
A little messy. Maybe do it with the girlfriend at some point and see how that goes. So, edible paints. Too much information. Classy Thomas, tell me about an Easter Sunday of yours, good sir. That any memories that you've had in the past?
Well, back when I was a kid, we would do the eggs with I think they were called paws. It was a little packet of these little dies, and you have a little wire hook, and you dip the egg in the little thing, and you let it dry, and this, that, and the other. And that was fun, but the only issue is that I don't eat eggs. So we have all these hard-boiled eggs, and well, everybody else will eat one. I don't eat eggs, so it was fun painting them, but it was kind of a waste for me. But the tradition that I like the most is that when our city was settled by Moravians, and so we would always go there and get Moravian sugar cake and things like that. But at Easter, we would always go and get the Moravian bakeries and get hot cross buns, and Mom would heat them up on Easter morning, and we have them at breakfast, and that was real cool. But yeah, I think that's the main tradition. But I want to pose a question. Who can tell me why? All right, this is the day that Christ was risen. What does the bunny that poops chocolate eggs have to do with Christ rising from the dead? I just don't get the Easter bunny thing. What is that all about?
Well, actually, that comes back from the 2000 BC. No, I haven't fucking clue. I want to joke with you. No, I don't know. No one knows.
I was going to say chocolate is amazing, so don't ask too many questions. Okay, I'll take it.
I don't have a problem with the chocolate. I'm just wondering, what is it about a bunny that poops chocolate and leaves it in a basket for you to eat on Sunday. I'm like, I just never got the whole Easter Bunny thing.
I don't think the Easter Bunny lays the eggs, man.
Yeah, or poops them
I think he just has
specifically.
the
But
eggs. None of this makes sense, man. None of this makes sense.
That makes sense.
But you get an egg, a chocolate egg, when you're a kid or when you're 40, and you don't ask questions. You just
It's also just like how a heart doesn't look like a heart that
Like
you
a
see on a
heart.
Valentine's card, But can you
Yeah.
imagine how nasty that would look if you're eating a chocolate-looking real?
I know.
also, when you make a connection with someone emotionally, it's absolutely nothing to do with your heart. It's to do with your brain. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah,
Chemistry teacher,
we've
here with
been
us.
lied to our whole lives.
I didn't realize
you guys
that
are
was the
curious,
chemistry you're in.
they say that the egg itself became a symbol of the resurrection, just like Jesus rose from the tomb. The egg symbolized new life emerging from the eggshell.
Oh, okay.
And the bunny.
Yeah.
It's
I
Randall
don't know.
says it has to do with
Yeah.
paganism.
But the
So-
bunny pooping it, that's what I don't get. The bunny poops new life, or
Before we talk about any more rabbit feces turning into chocolate, we've got Pete from Only Fools and Collecting, a division of Collecting Weekly here with us.
Pete.
Good sir. You've come in at an
Hello, Pete.
interesting time, Pete. We're going over Easter.
Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter to you guys. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Thomas has been smoking there. I have never believed that the bunny was pooping those eggs. I wouldn't be eating them if you had. But, I mean, I think growing up, Easter wasn't really a massive thing. We just enjoyed having a nice long weekend off, probably watching a load of shitty movies on TV back in the day when you just had to watch what was on. So you'd watch a bit of Ben-Hur, Ten Commandments, all the all the religious stuff. I think obviously having my son grow up, it was very much about Easter egg hunts and stuff like that, going out to places to do it, doing it in the garden and everything. And actually, this is the first year that we stopped doing it because he's nearly 14 now, and he just wants to be playing on his PlayStation 5 up in his bedroom. So we didn't do a hunt this year. So that's kind of. That's Easter done for me now.
Oh, that's kind of sad, man.
Yeah, but it happens. It happens.
Did you get an egg though?
Oh yeah. I bought my own egg. So
did a bunny poop it?
Oh my god.
I hope not. It's about that big.
This is a weirder, warm up subject than I even expected it would be. This is round one. We got a whole second warm up in the slot for you guys.
Man.
I'll give
Bring
it
it
to you.
on, bring it
I'll give
on.
it to you. I'll give you two quick stories here. Well, I'll do 3 really quick stories. So first Easter story was when I was a kid. I was probably like 10 years old, and my dad thought it would be funny to take a piece of cotton ball and wedge it between the front door and like the door frame. And so we woke up in the morning and it was like, holy shit, Ben, look. The Easter Bunny got his tail stuck in the door on the way out, and I totally believed it, but to the point where it actually made me, like, upset. I cried, because I was like, oh my god, that's horrible. Like, poor little bastard just leaving us chocolate and gets his tail
right.
caught in the door.
He was
It's
trying
horrible.
to poop. He was trying to
Yeah.
poop you out some eggs.
Yeah. Second
still got
story was when I owned a house 2 years ago. There was like a neighborhood Easter event, like Easter hunt, right? We didn't take part because we didn't have kids, but we saw kids walking all over the neighborhood. Well, then of course, the snow starts to thaw, and about a month later, I find a huge chocolate egg beside my house, still perfectly encased in the foil. And so my stoned self decided it was a good idea to eat it, and it was great. Honestly, it was such a great little treat when you find chocolate in the wild and it's actually good. I wouldn't recommend eting random chocolate off the ground most of the time.
What Ben didn't know is that actually was there from the hunt a decade ago.
100%.
You just never found it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and
you know
then
that bunny. You know that bunny pooped it for you. That's why I'm sitting in New York.
You know what? It was a fully developed egg. It was huge. No weird eggs in the sock drawer though. But then one
Sock
last
drawer?
thing. Yeah, like Shane's cream egg in the sock drawer. Leaking out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes ago, guys. Come on, keep up.
No, I thought
all right?
the
Come on.
cream egg fell out. I thought it fell out of the cereal bottle when you poured the cereal out.
Yeah,
That's
that was
right.
the clean version. Ben took it
was the
elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry
It's
about
a
it,
new
guys.
life. Okay, I get it.
I drank last night. I'm a little hung today, so we're good.
You're a
Third
little
story,
hung-
real
You're a little
quick.
hungry. You're a little hungover.
Don't you worry about it. I care not to share more details with the chat. Third story was about Shane's outfit. We said that, I have a bit of a story there. No, it's not my clothing that he's wearing, but when I was younger, I really wanted a tattoo because I've got no tattoos on me at all. And I really, really wanted a tattoo. And I loved Volcom clothing when I was younger. I skated a lot. I did a lot of snowboarding. And so that brand was everywhere. That and DC shoes. Everybody had DC shoes back in the day. The big, couch shoes, like are huge fat guys. Anyways, I thought it was cool. And so I really, really wanted to get a Volcom Stone tattoo on my elbow. And all of my friends talked me out of it because they were like, no, as cool as that would probably be, you'll look like a lesbian, don't do it. And I was like, wow, why is a Volcom Stone anything to do with that? But that's what I was told. So I decided not to. And then after that, I didn't wear Volcom clothing for a 10-year gap. So now looking back, in terms of a no regrets type of tattoo, that would 100% be one of those ones. Yeah. As much as I still love the brand, happy I didn't get that art. Yeah. But I still want
it's funny,
a tattoo.
It's funny you mention that because there's a lot of stuff say the kind of skate brands that I would have worn as a kid that I just won't wear now. But there's certain ones I'm yeah, I still like that one. And as cool as the Volcom Stone is, the only way that tattoo ends up being cool is that if you were literally sponsored by them and that sponsorship deal was the one that made your career in the skating or surfing or snowboarding industry, so. But,
heck yeah.
I'm glad
But I do want a gothic style Batman one at some point, I think. Because Batman has been my life my whole life. I think I want it animated series style, but also with a bit of that the gothic background. So we're working on that maybe. If I stop collecting so many figures. But guys, let's move on to the first or second, technically, warm-up topic before we introduce the chat. We got 31 people here watching. Thank you so much for joining us on Easter Sunday, guys. I hope you're having a great day and a bit of a laugh with us already so far. This weird-looking image, and I apologize if this horrifies anybody specifically, especially on Easter Sunday, is a screen grab of what the Pooh-verse now looks like. And when I say the Pooh-verse, I mean the Winnie the Pooh-verse. There was a horror movie not that long ago, Pooh, Blood and Honey, which I watched recently, and it was twisted. It was a little weird, but not as scary as I expected. But of course, now a lot of these characters are getting to that age where there's a little bit of free use available, that you can actually use these characters now in upcoming content. And so they're thinking about creating the Pooh-verse. And when I look at this, I can't even identify all of these ones, so maybe you guys can help me. I do think the guy on the right-hand side with the pointy nose is Pinocchio, a really twisted version. I also think what Pooh there is riding in the middle is a dead Bambi. But the rest are absolutely horrific. So for me, I was curious about what you guys thought of this. Is this something that you guys would get on board with? I want to know from the chat as well. Are these movies you guys would actually go and watch, or do you feel like the Pooh-verse was, or the Winnie the Pooh, the Blood and Honey film was kind of a standalone? It was kind of cool, but we don't need a whole universe from it. Jose, I'll start with you. The movie man. What do you think?
And it's interesting because I never saw the Pooh movie, but I heard about it. I saw the trailer. Go off, man. That's all I say, man. Go crazy. If you guys are into that kind of horror, B movie style horror movies, why not? If it's public domain and they want to do the Pooh-verse, go for it. I don't think it's something I'm gonna be a particular fan of, to be honest, but go nuts, right?
And you actually like horror.
I do,
right?
Yeah.
Would you ever collect from it if you saw a film and you were like, "Ooh, that was actually decent"? Would you collect a figure that looks like this?
I don't know, probably not. They would probably be interesting to look at, if someone had them in their display in their collection. But but no, probably not.
The Pinocchio one really freaking terrifying. It's really horrible. Brick Artemis here with us. Brick Pinocchio is exciting. Huh? It's exciting. I don't know is the word, but
he's been lying to someone.
Pete, Pete, what do you think here, buddy? Is this something that you would get on board with? At least give it a watch one time through, like if the whole universe comes out, or do you think they should keep it as kind of a standalone Blood and Honey and call it a day?
I find it really odd. I've not seen the Blood and Honey, so
it's a weird one, dude.
on it. I struggle enough to keep up with movies and TV shows and stuff across all the different networks and things like that, and getting to the cinema and stuff. So I mean, I don't personally have any time for this sort of thing. I think it's a bit odd. It's kind of like, obviously it's going for a shock factor, and it's obviously a completely different audience to who's actually likes the real stuff. I don't think there's much crossover. I find it odd. I think people do it for shock value, and I know that there was talk of there's like a Mickey Mouse one as well, isn't there, and stuff like that. It's just like
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, it's just they're just because they can. They're doing it because they can, because these things have come out of copyright, whatever it is, and they can have a bit of freedom to mess about with them. But to be honest, I don't care. They can do what they like, but I don't imagine it's going to be a particularly great movie that people are going to talk about.
Not something you'd support with your money necessarily.
No, not for me. No.
Fair enough.
Very strange.
This universe feels like something like if I was in a hotel room overnight and I was just flipping around cable and there was nothing on, but one of these movies was on, I might give it a whirl.
Yeah.
But as I said, the Blood and Honey one was twisted. I shouldn't have watched it by myself. I'll never look at Winnie the Pooh the same ever again. Shane,
was it live action?
It's live action. They're wearing like rubber masks that look like Piglet and Pooh, and it's horrifying to be honest. But yeah. Shane, have you ever thought about adding horror figures to your collection? And is this something that interests you?
Oh, okay. The horror figures thing, probably not. But if I was, I would be going, okay, what are the classic horror movies that I actually do like? I'm not a die-hard horror fan, but I'm a movie fan, so I'd be kind of going, right, what figures do you like? Right, I'd probably go straight to the 1978, I think it is, Halloween, first Halloween movie.
Michael Myers.
But no, I probably won't end up, again, I'll probably put that into the kind of like the animated Star Wars stuff or the sequel stuff I'm never going to collect. However, I have a lot more respect for really good horror films than I do for the sequel trilogy or something like that. This on the screen, I have less than no interest in. I want everyone to really just bear with what I'm saying here now. The average human being sleeps 8 hours a night. It's an average. I know people in the chat probably go, I'll be looking if I get 4, and there's other people that might sleep in and get 10, 12, whatever. The average human being sleeps 8 hours a night. That's 8 is a third of 24. So if you take all of the days in your life and they were just laid out on the table, you can just take away a third of them right there, and that time you have left is the time you are awake. Then imagine the time that you spend educating yourself, working, doing chores, commuting, that the amount of time that you have to spend on doing what you want to do, whether that is watching movies, spending time with the people you love, you mentioned snowboarding, going to concerts, whatever it is that floats your boat, is very small. I do not want to dedicate a minute of that time to shit like this. No chance. I was watching Poor Things the last weekend with Megan, and we were out today with family and stuff like that, and Megan's uncle was saying, oh yeah, have you seen Oppenheimer? Yeah, it's great. Have you seen Dune 2? Whatever, have a good conversation. He goes, we watched Poor Things. Shane, what do you think? And I said, yeah, it made me feel really uncomfortable. It's kind of supposed to be like that, and to be honest, I'll never watch it again. And I just felt that I could definitely have watched something like American Fiction and would have enjoyed it a lot more. So it's like, you know what I mean? And if I'm saying that about a movie like Poor Things, which was good, I can kind of see why people would like it.
An Oscar-winning film.
Yeah, exactly. There's no chance that I'm going to give a second to this stuff, Ben. So yeah,
Nope,
there we
that's
go.
fair. And Eddie just sent me a text message and just said nothing burger. So thank you,
Oh,
Eddie.
gosh.
Thank you, Eddie. Just kidding, he didn't. I hope he watches this on replay later, though. Classy Thomas, do you have any horror figures in your collection? I forget, buddy. And
I do.
Would this universe interest you? For a quick view, what do you think?
No, not really. It doesn't really interest me. Now, of course, I would like to make note of the fact that I step away for a few seconds and come back and you're still talking about poo.
Oh my god!
So just
I didn't realize that was going to be the theme of the show
Okay.
today. I apologize.
But
I didn't put these two and two together.
I mean, but
Yeah.
the thing that's kind of, I mean, this just looks, I don't know, a little twisted. It doesn't look scary. It looks twisted. I mean, you got this guy back here in the background that looks, I'm assuming it's the Mad Hatter because he's wearing a hat. But then
yeah,
you got
that's
this
a good
little
hat.
girl right next to him holding a syringe. Now, who in
That's Sarah
Disney?
Jessica Parker.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Oh no!
That's what I saw her, and that's what I
does
thought of.
look like
Like,
Sarah Jessica
nothing to do with the syringe. Just
and I'm like, who in Disney was trying to inject people with heroin? I mean, that's what I do not understand.
Maybe it's Alice in Wonderland because she always has a drug trip when she goes and sees the Mad Hatter.
Hey, maybe.
yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
You know, that's
I could
true.
see it. I could see it.
But yeah, this doesn't look. You know, I would rather they come up with new content than to take old beloved content and turn it into something less than it was.
Makes sense.
And that's I mean, this looks lesser than. It does not look. It doesn't look like they've elevated it. I mean, if you do something different and you elevate the work, then I think that makes it worth it. But if all you do is just capitalize on the name and then turn it into something that nobody really gives a flip about,
so you're saying it's non-canon.
non-canon, yeah. I'd
Non-canon.
like to shoot it out of a cannon, but because
There you-
I just don't want to see this to beloved things from my childhood.
Fair enough. Well said, boys. Thanks for warming me up. I'm ready for the rest of the show now. We got some more entertainment news, a couple slides, and then I want to talk 6 scale with you guys because there's lots happening this week and I'm excited to talk about it. But let's say hi to everybody first. We got 34 people watching live. Yeah, let's say hi.
Is that everyone? I keep wanting for more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. For the Tough Nut crew, we have a few more members. We're at 29 members, guys. I've got a king shark literally sitting right here that I want to give away to one of the people on this list. But we need 30. That's what I said. I set my hard rule at 30. So we need one more channel member out there. If you guys are thinking about becoming one of the Tough Nut crew, you get your name read. You get some cool badge icons beside you as they grow. As the longer you're with us, you see the transition there. I've been trying to stay on top of everybody's transition here on the side on this slide. It's more work than I expected, but I love to see everybody progressing through the ranks. $1.99 if you're interested. I will put the membership link there in a moment. But guys, let's say hi to these guys. Okay, we got Elvin J, Collecting Weekly, Money Mendez, 6 Scale Mafia, Katera, Feezy's Figures, King Dingaling, Sith Scale Collector, Paul Schreiber, The Batman, The Movie Canon, 1/6 Figure Focus, SpongeBob Square, Balls, The Underscore, Empire Strikes, Peter Cass, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, 14 Wellington, Jose G. Hernandez, 12-inch Moose Stream, Collection Obsession, Blurred Dad Life, Danny Spotchka, Rachel Miller, Honest Hansel, Action in the Box, Figurecraft, and Neilerific. Thank you so much, guys, for becoming members. Again, these are a better look at the badges that you have beside your name in the chat there.
We've got it.
And then
Got to
30.
remember.
Yeah.
we got it. Oh, nice.
Action
I-
Figure Academy.
Action Figure Academy, thank you so much for becoming the 30th member. Guys, that means as of next week, we will have the giveaway. So stay tuned for Sunday. Let's Get Nuts next week. I could set that up. Maybe we'll do a duck race or something along those lines. If you guys have any ideas as well in the panel, let me know, because you guys have done giveaways as well or been part of them. I'd be happy to hear a little bit more about that. But guys, thank you so much for becoming the 30th there, buddy. We appreciate you. Again, these are some of the emojis that you can use again today as well. Let's get that King Shark out next Sunday, because I've been wanting to unbox it, to be honest. Like, when you have a figure just sitting there that I don't own, it's hard to not want to see it. So I got to get it out the door. But you guys are awesome. With regards, I apologize, one too far. Let's say hi to the actual folks that are with us here as well today, and thank you to everybody watching on replay. We got Mr. Noble Young here with us with a nut, a piece, cover your face, and one of those cream eggs that's in Shane's drawer. We got It's Randall here with us, which I also think is Pop Culture Living Room, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe it's just Randall. I don't know. I saw him make an appearance recently, and he was quite funny. We got Action Figure Academy here with us, now the newest channel member. Thank you so much. Movie Canon, one of our channel members as well. We got X-Man Supreme, says what's going on, over to the Movie Canon there. We've got Thalia Meyer here in the chat with us. Hello, everyone. Happy Easter. Good to see you. We got Calvin, aka the Low-Key Collector, with us. He says, what's up, fellas? Happy Easter Sunday. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a great time with your family as well. Don Matan, what up? Big Nut Ben. Ooh, thank you. I appreciate that. We got Ryan Smith here in the chat with us as well. One of our channel members says, hey, guys. Good to see you here, buddy. Thanks so much for joining. And we got another channel member with us, King Dingaling. Of course, a show would not be a show without you, good sir. Thanks for popping in. We got Ryan Dean here with us as well, and I've really enjoyed Ryan's take on all the entertainment news over the last several weeks. So thanks for coming back once again, buddy. He says, hi, y'all. Hope the weekend has been treating everyone well. Definitely good to see you there. We got one of our channel members here as well, Collection Obsession, here with a Nut Fun, and hello, collectors. Love to see it. We got Jose G himself, as well as 1/6 Figure Focus here with us as well. Both channel members of the Ben Thomas Show as well. We got Christian here in the chat. He says, hi, folks. Looks like some poppies there potentially. Let me know if I'm right on that one. We also have Darth Tamaris here in the chat with us, and I shouted him out last week because I actually recently learned that he has a YouTube channel of his own. Go over and check it out. Let's all support each other. I think that's the best thing that we can possibly do for each other. Subscribing is free. Everybody can be a subscriber to see what people do to be creative with their time. I think that's awesome. Let's see who else. We got Figurecraft here with us. He says, and one of our channel members as well, hey, fellow collectors, just stopping by and saying happy Easter to all. Have a good show, Ben, and panel, and I'll catch up on the replay as well. And he also provided me some pictures that I want to use on a slide later today, because I'm excited to talk a little bit about those photos. Really, really good work there. We got Pete Cass, of course, in the chat with us and on the panel with us as well. Let me make sure I haven't missed anybody. We got Don Matan here. He says, the bunny and the egg is the symbol of fertility. Spring is the rebirth of life in nature. There you go, Classy. You got your answer, buddy. We got Brick Artemis here in the chat with us. What's up, everyone? I want to get Brick on the show maybe next Sunday or the week after. If you're available, buddy, let me know. I want to get you on the show with us here. Really enjoy your presence on Wolfpack Wednesday and his own show, especially with regards to some of the Lego stuff that he covers there. Very, very cool. We got Danny Spotchko, our channel member, with us as well. What's going on, good sir? I love all the artwork you guys have been doing for Collector Joey's channel lately. Keep up the great work on that show as well, with Copper Drop, of course. We got Mark P here with Happy Easter, collectors. I think I've got everybody, guys. Let me make sure. Oh, we got Akira here in the chat. Hey, Ben. Late, but catching up now. Better late than never, buddy. Thanks so much for popping in. We definitely appreciate you being here. And 12-inch Moose Stream. You can't forget about 12-inch Moose Stream. And I noticed when I was reading the member slides here, buddy, that your name is misspelled. I mean, it's not actually misspelled, but Google wants me to say it's misspelled every time, and I always have to correct it. So you get the special red line today. 12-inch special red line. I think that's everybody, guys. Let me know. Oh, we got Cylon here in the chat with us. Hey, everyone. That's a cool image as well, actually. I like that. And the 6th Scale Gallery here with us as well. Guys, I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, please let me know in the chat. I'll be sure to say your name because I appreciate you guys being here. Let's move on because,
Ben, before you go on, you actually have 2 more new members.
Holy crap. Okay, let's take a look here. We got Don Matan in the chat, becoming a new member with us as well. Thank you so much, good sir. Definitely appreciate you. Make sure you're here next Sunday for the giveaway, as well as X-Men Supreme. Dude, thank you so much for becoming a member as well. Guys, that's 3 of you in here, and I luckily have 3 of these available, so let's take a look at this. First of all, this is for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And then we got this one.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, I'm going to give you this one. Thank you so much for becoming members, guys. We appreciate you there, and thanks for letting me know, Classy. I appreciate you, buddy. That definitely always helps. We got Action Figure Academy in with a $5 super chat as well, being so generous today. It says, my nuts are bigger now. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Get that checked out if it stays that way more than a week, okay? Just in case. Here, we'll give you one of these for all of you guys joining today. Thank you so much.
One fundraiser with my pals. You'll never need another cent.
Thanks again, guys. All right, let's move on here. We got a little bit of entertainment news. This one makes me laugh. I very briefly teased this last week because I thought it was interesting in terms of sequels. It says here, Happy Gilmore sequel is in the works. A first script draft is ready. And then, of course, I love seeing celebrities troll each other a little bit. So there is a official Twitter Shooter McGavin, which is awesome. Love Shooter McGavin from the first film. I can't remember the actor's name now. You might be able to tell me, Jose, quick. But awesome actor. And I love that he's written here
Christopher
in his Twitter,
McDonald.
Thank you so much. No way I'm losing to this guy again in the sequel. If they are pitted off against each other, that will make me watch the film. It will. I think that they're both awesome. Their chemistry was great. While they're, of course, older dudes, I still think the movie is going to be fantastic if it comes out. This is a sequel I support because this is the kind of easy, like, turn off your brain, sit on the couch with some buddies. If you got some nostalgia for this movie, I think it will be really fun. This made me love golf as well as hockey, and a combination of both. His aggression in the first film, I hope that they bring that back. Horrible that Carl Weathers passed away recently, because him as Chubbs, even though in the movie Chubbs was technically already a ghost for most of the film, no spoilers if you haven't seen it. Still an excellent part of that first one, so it's too bad we won't get a chance to see him make a return. But everybody else I would be very, very happy to see. I think Bob Barker's now passed away as well, if I'm not mistaken. And Bob Barker was also badass in the first movie. So I support this. I'm very excited about this. Classy, did you ever see the first film? I don't even know, buddy. And would you be excited to see a Happy Gilmore too?
No, I actually have never seen. Well, I mean, it comes up on like TBS and everything like that a lot, but I've seen portions of it, but I've never seen the whole. I think I've only seen 1 or 2 Adam Sandler movies all the way through. I've seen parts of just about every one of his movies, but I think the only ones I've actually seen all the way through were Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. So, yeah, I'm not that familiar with Happy Gilmore. Wait a minute. Was he also in some movie that had Chris Farley and the little tiny guy?
David Spade?
David Spade, yeah. What?
I think they were in.
Was he in a movie with them?
Not Chris. I don't think Chris Farley was in it. He's been in movies with David Spade before. But
Is that Little Nicky? No.
No, but I've heard they're also looking at doing a Little Nicky. They've teased him as like his current self in the Nicky haircut, like sitting on a park bench. And so I wonder if he just needs money. Like, I wonder what's happening. Why are we getting a return of all these? Billy Madison too, as well.
Look at what he's wearing. Guy definitely needs something.
I love Adam Sandler. He's always so casual. Fair enough. Well, Jose, what about you, buddy? Is a Happy Gilmore 2 something that you would support in terms of sequels, anyways?
Sure. I mean, legacy sequels can always be tough. You always have to live up to the expectations of the first movie. Mm-hmm. So, especially comedies. Usually comedies, sequels, legacy sequels don't hit the same way. It's just not the same. There's always different circumstances, different people, different writers, different everything. So, I mean, I'm interested to see if they're working on the script. There must be something there, right? So there's actually more than idea. There's actually a script there. So I'd be interested. I mean, we would miss Carl Weathers for sure. That was my favorite part of this movie. So
yeah, Chubbs.
Yeah.
I play golf on PlayStation 5 with some of my buddies back home, and I made my character look like Chubbs, and it's awesome. It makes me so happy to play it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Such a quotable movie. How You Figure is here with us. It says, I don't care how bad this movie might end up being, I'm there day one. And a quick shout out to How You Figure as well. Also somebody I'd really like to get on a Let's Get Nuts stream at some point one of these Sundays as well. If you're available, hit me up in the I almost called it the MSN, the Messenger. Yeah, that's no age. You love to see it. Hit me up there and we'll get you in to the show sheet on one of these weeks as well. He was just on with Evil Sneakers channel the other night, and that was also a very, very fun and entertaining show. So make sure you guys have a chance to check out them. I love all the new blood in the community, and honestly, everybody's super positive that way. It's been really fun content. I just don't have enough time to keep up with it for the most part. We also have Casual Nerd Problems here with us saying classy with a beer. You love to see it. Shouting out the classy. What about you, Shane? Did you like the original? Is this something that you'd actually get excited for in terms of a sequel, or are you like leave the good movies alone? What are your thoughts?
I mean, come on. That guy spent more in the sand than David Hasselhoff. So, I mean, how can you not like that line? Yeah, look, I thought the first movie was good. I enjoyed it, but like I'm not chomping at the bit for a sequel. A lot of sequels kind of let me down, to be honest. They made Dumb and Dumber, and then didn't they go and they did the prequel, which was poor. And then I think they did the sequel, which wasn't great either. And it's just like classics are classics for a reason. Sometimes they don't need to be remade. Get new ideas. Sometimes it works, but not always. Dodgeball 2, I'd like to see that. But at the same time, I wouldn't be walking in expecting it to be great. The same way with the Beetlejuice thing. So, yeah, if they make this, I wouldn't be rushing out to see it. I'll wait until it goes on to some sort of streaming service.
Yeah, I feel a little bit senile because honestly, it's like every time I look at what's coming up in theaters like soon, it does feel like it's a sequel from my past. And I'm like, oh, member berries are a thing. And you're right. Like the first time I watched Happy Gilmore, I just like laughed my ass off because it was all fresh jokes and everything. I do hope they continue like a fresh perspective on it. I hope they don't go just and kind of revisit the same stuff, like some of those iconic lines that we were just quoting, right? Like it's all in the hips and stuff. Like you don't have to go back to that to make it a good movie. Like come up with some new material with the same characters, and I think it could be very enjoyable. We got 40 people watching live. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Welcome to Let's Get Nuts today. Pete, is this one that you'd get excited for? Did you like the original?
To be honest, I'm not sure I've seen it. I'm quite guilty of. Yeah, I'm quite guilty of probably not seeing a lot of these early. I can always get them confused. Adam Sandler movies. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones you mentioned. So I'm not sure why I kind of didn't. Those didn't, those passed me by. But I do like him, and I've seen him in more recent things. But yeah, I don't have any connection to this movie because I may have seen it, but I can't think. I don't really remember anything about it. So
you and Classy have some homework then. This is one that I'm like,
yeah.
if you got an hour and a half of your evening, try and find it. It's a good watch. It's a good watch, and you don't have to be a big golf guy. You don't even have to be a big hockey guy. It's a good little story. Click was one movie that Adam Sandler made me cry in. Every single time I still watch that film, I get teary at the end. So again, no spoilers, but if you haven't seen Click, it's also a fun one.
Wow.
And what the heck is his name now? The Emperor from Dune 2. Christopher Walken is in that film as well, and he's super. He's awesome. But yes, Click makes me tear up every time.
It's a good movie.
I'm a big softie. So, guys, let us know in the chat. Are you guys excited for Happy Gilmore 2? Yes, no. Are you excited maybe for one of the other ones these guys mentioned? Jokingly, but could actually be fun. I love Dodgeball. I agree with you. I saw that in theaters years ago, Shane, and with like a group of friends, and it's one of the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie theater my entire life.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Bold strategy. See if it pays off for him.
One of the best. Yeah.
Right. He will not be able to see very well.
Yeah. So good, guys. That is I literally have the bold strategy here because it makes me laugh every time with him.
a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It's hard to believe that dude is Ozark now.
I know,
You know what I mean?
right? Yeah.
Fucking
Let us
Chuck
know.
Norris.
Let us know what you guys think of Dodgeball 2 or Happy Gilmore 2. Love to see that, guys. Next up, Variety is reported here. Timothy Chalamet signs a Warner Bros. Deal to star in and produce new movies after Wonka and Dune success. Now, the picture on the left is, of course, his little headshot with the Variety article. The picture on the right is him dressed up. I'm not sure if it's for Halloween or what the context of him being dressed up as Edward Scissorhands is. But he kind of looks good as an Edward Scissorhands, I will say. And it made me want to ask you guys what your thoughts were on Timothy, because he's obviously a rising star. And to be honest, I'd never really thought about this kid before Dune 2 and Dune. And then I saw him in Wonka, and I enjoyed Wonka. And he's got a unique look. He also has pretty awesome acting chops. I'll give him that. He's a good character or a good actor to watch. He seems like he really adopts any role he's put into. But what I'm a little bit worried is, like, we'll get Jenna Ortega'd by him a little bit, in the sense of, like, for a bit there, all we saw was Jenna Ortega in all these different films, right? And while she wasn't in the same caliber of films, of course, that Timothy has been in now, I also think, like, will we get sick of seeing the guy if they're going to sign him to a deal this early and really lock him in career-wise? So I could see him as a Edward Scissorhands. Overall, I'm not sick of him by any stretch yet, but if he gets signed on, if he's in too many films, is this something that you guys feel like you could get fatigued by, or you don't feel fatigued with an actor as long as the story's good? Shane, what are your thoughts?
If he's doing a good job, he's doing a good job. If he's getting a lot of these roles, typically is because he's doing a good job. I'll throw myself out. I liked him in Dune. I liked him in Dune Part 2. I was very... If you told me they were making an Edward Scissorhands with him in him, I'd be like, oh, for God's sake, just let it go. There's nothing wrong with Edward Scissorhands. It doesn't need to be remade. Let it go. Get some original thought. Develop... You know, a bit of thinking time and get an original thought. You know what I mean? So if you told me that, I'd be kind of going, they don't need to remake that. But in terms of, like, is he good or not, or does it bother me he's in a lot of things? No. The whole Din Djarin thing, what's your man's name? I'm completely drawing a blank. Jose?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. He was excellent in Game of Thrones. He was excellent in Din Djarin as the Mandalorian, as Din Djarin. You know, I know he wasn't always in the suit, but the parts of it he was, the parts when he was off, he was excellent as Din Djarin. Narcos, he was great, and I thought he was great in The Last of Us as well. So, like, I didn't really get too peeved when he was cast as
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic or whatever, because it's like, yeah, he's doing a good job in the other roles. So yeah, hey, look, why not? So this guy here. Look, yeah, like, I mean, the few things I've seen him in, like I said, Wonka, I thought he was great, and that'd be a movie I was like, why would you remake it when they already butchered it with the Johnny Depp version? I just wasn't a fan of the Johnny Depp version, but I watched it and I really enjoyed it, and he was very good in it, and that was quite sad at the end. So, like, I was like, yeah, okay, that was it wasn't a remake, it was a prequel, and I thought it was really good, a lot more than I had no time for the Johnny Depp version. He was great in Lady Bird, he was great in Don't Look Up, and he was in Interstellar, so I'm always going to be a bit biased towards him. He was I think it's Pacey Affleck, the younger version of Pacey Affleck. I think I have that right, but yeah. So
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
I did not even realize that. I love that movie. I recently watched that one.
Yeah,
another crier for me. I hate to see it. I'm very sensitive, guys.
Yeah. So look, if he's doing a good job, of course he's going to get more roles. What about it?
Heck yeah. Love to hear it. Well said. Pete, I know you've been a pretty busy guy lately, especially with your moving your collection room around and everything. Have you had a chance to see Dune 2 yet, though? And are you worried about actor fatigue if, again, guys like this are getting signed to longer-term contracts from places like Warner Bros.? Could that be an issue? Or do you think as long as the content's good, you'd be okay with it? Oh, sorry, I got you muted, Pete.
Okay.
Sorry,
No, I haven't seen the movie yet. No, I'm trying to get Ghostbusters is my number one priority. Hoping to go at some point. Just things haven't worked out. No, I think I talked about Dune on the last show, and we were talking about the fig stuff, and that I wasn't blown away by the first part. But as Shane said, he's kind of, you know, after seeing the second part, had more of an appreciation for the first part. So I'm not sure if I get to sit in the movies, but I'll definitely watch it on the big screen Yeah, I've got Star Wars running in the background, which is always good. On the projector. No, I really enjoyed him in Wonka. I thought it was a great movie. I thought he did really well. I like him, and I think that he's kind of like one of the up and comings, and a bit like with back in the olden days of Hollywood, where they used to sign up these actors to kind of their studio, and they had kind of bragging rights over them. I can see them wanting to snap him up because both films have been, I think, critically and financially successful. He's a young guy, and obviously, his two big roles so far in this year or last year, very different. A musical and then a big sci-fi drama. So, I think he's good. I think he certainly hasn't done enough to kind of be burnout yet, and I'll be interested to see. Hopefully, it's not Edward Scissorhands because, as Shane said, it doesn't really need a sequel or a remake or anything like that. But no, I think he's a decent.
Do you think? Sorry, Pete.
No.
Do you guys think? And we can ask Jose as well first up, but anybody can answer. Do you guys think like the age of the movie star is dying a little bit? And the reason I ask that is that like when I was younger, if you thought about famous people, for example, you most of the time name like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and like you could go on and on and on with actors that you felt were just like these big Hollywood movie stars. And now when I think about movie stars of this generation, and maybe I'm showing my age here, maybe if I was a younger man I'd feel differently, but guys like Timothée Chalamet and ladies like Jenna Ortega and Sydney Sweeney, and some of these people are rising through the ranks for sure, but I feel like because they've been popular in a couple of films, they're like, all right, let's put these guys in everything then. And it seems to me like there's less like Hollywood big movie stars out there. Now, is that because social media is so prevalent now? Everybody can be famous at the click of a couple buttons if they, trend? Or is it just that, again, maybe it's an aging thing. Maybe I'm not seeing some of these younger actors and their potential for their future. I even think back to Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill. Like so many of those guys were just so iconic in my childhood. And I can only name probably, like less than 10 movie stars nowadays that I really feel like hit that peak level. What do you think about that, Jose?
That's a tough question. I think you mentioned the social media thing. I think that definitely plays a part. A lot of people can get more popular with social media, and also can get canceled with social media. Right? There's a lot of things that could happen. So I think that plays a part. I think what also I would bring up is kind of we're in the age. Well, we have been for a while. The age of the checking the Rotten Tomatoes score, right, and going by numbers. So a lot of people. I mentioned this before in other streams, but basically, like, I feel like this generation, they want to make sure that they're spending their money wisely. So they'll check the score, but sometimes they don't really check anything other than that. And that's kind of where we get in trouble because they just kind of go based off a number and not really, an opinion, just a number. So they'll see the Rotten Tomato score and then they'll be like, okay, well, I'm not wasting my time to go watch that. So I think that plays a big part in people going to see the movies. I mean, and a recognizable star is always going to be important, I think, if you like that particular person. But I think it's like also like you mentioned the social media things. There's a lot of things that could happen, right? You have different political views, or you don't align with certain things they promote, or so on and so forth. And there's all these other factors that happen that didn't exist back in those the Arnold or Stallone or Van Damme era. That I think that now it's a little bit more difficult for rising stars per se.
Yeah, you still got probably from that generation Tom Cruise, although he's kind of I think his light's fading a little bit. He's very much kind of pigeonholed into the Mission Impossible franchise now. And I also think that, well, very recently, that I think the demise of Johnny Depp to me has kind of drawn a line under these like massive great stars that everybody would pay whatever money they could to get them in their movie. He to me is one of those last great kind of icons that it feels like he's kind of, you know, that we're going to talk about it later, but the figure coming out is almost like Disney throwing an olive branch. But I don't know whether those ties are gone forever now. But yeah, I think he kind of, to me, symbolises maybe the death of the mega star.
Well, you know, I'd also like to mention that I think that what we look for in movies today, and I think a lot of this is driven by social media, we are driven to go to blockbusters. For example, I've heard several well-known established actors that have complained about, I think Jodie Foster actually had mentioned something similar about how she was kind of annoyed about the fact that people want to go see the superhero movies and they want to see the action flicks, but they're not coming to these well-acted shows that kind of fly under the radar. And while I'm not going to throw my superhero movies under the bus because I've been waiting 50 years for them, by the same token, I think there's some truth to what she's saying, is that we're so conditioned to just be entertained that we're not looking for thoughtful movies, that we're not looking, for example, I usually look forward to Oscar season, not because of looking at the all the pomp and circumstance, but I get introduced to movies that I've never heard of, and I get a chance to go and check them out and find out, wow, they were pretty good. I mean, I become a big fan of Barry Keoghan after I saw him in Dunkirk. And now I've seen him in other movies, and I'm like, wow. And Timothée Chalamet, you know, before he did, you know, Dune, I mean, he was great in Call Me by Your Name. He was great in Beautiful Boy. That movie, if you've never seen that movie, that one will make you cry. You know, it's about this kid who became a drug addict, and him and Steve Carell. That was a gripping movie. So, and I think there's also a difference. Like old Hollywood, the studio would invest in cultivating a star, and they take them under their wing. They show them how to dress. They promote them. They do all that. Now, stars are more in charge of that themselves. And I think the stars who usually I find the most interesting are the ones who are not out on social media all the time, where there's still a little bit of mystery to them, where you don't really know. I don't need to know every opinion you have. All I want to know is how good of an actor you are. That's what I'm interested in seeing. Not do we share the same political affiliations? Do you go to church? I mean, I don't need to know all of that. And so I'm hoping success for actors like Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. Zendaya is another up and coming star that I think is going to be big one day. But I hope that, I mean, it's going to be bigger one, excuse me. But I hope that these younger actors are going to be able to start striking deals that will allow them to produce and direct, because that's where you really get a chance to see them shine, is when they step back from in front of the screen and start doing the things behind the scenes and get a chance to make great film. That's what I look forward to, and I hope that Timothée Chalamet gets an opportunity to do things like that.
Sounds like he probably will, especially if it's a Warner Bros. Deal. And well said, Classy. Great points. Really, really good points. One Six Figure Focus here puts in the chat, Cillian Murphy, Leo, RDJ, Pitt, Pacino, Pugh, Margot Robbie, Bale, Damon, Cooper, Zendaya, Holland, Rock, Stone, Gosling, Portman. I would agree. Some of those are definitely up there in terms of...
I'm also not giving my stamp of approval that Rock is a good actor. He's absolutely not. But he's a movie star.
I guess, and I didn't articulate what I was thinking very well either, because they are, of course, all very well-known film stars, but they were also really well-known 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago. Can you
Yeah.
name how many can you name under the age of 30 at this point? Up and coming stars, people who are going to be the next movie star in the next 30 years of their life, right? This guy, maybe Timothy Chalamet, but I can't think of many. And again, maybe that's just
Cillian
based on the
Murphy
movies that
wasn't
I'm
massive
seeing.
20 years ago, though.
The thing is that also you need to consider: are they famous or are they money at the box office, right? So how
Also
so
true.
there's two different two different things.
That is two
Do
different
they
things.
have
That's
draw?
true. Do they have draw? That's a good way
Like
to put
that's
it.
why
I like that.
Rock
Yeah.
is in there because for some reason he has draw. I wouldn't go see a movie just because The Rock is in it. I don't think he's a good actor. He's just himself. But I understand that the WWE fans who are massive Rock fans, and then he plays something like Black Adam, and it's advertised well. And it's like, all right, let's go see it. I don't think for a second that The Rock is a good actor. I admire the man's graft in terms of like getting himself in physical shape and his work attitude and his work ethic and what he's done. But with that list there's a mix of new younger people like Zendaya, Holland, Pugh should have been up on that list as well.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying for that is like this mix of like people who have been around for 20 years but people who absolutely haven't as well. The movie star, to become a movie star in the purest sense, you do have to, number one, work regularly, make regular movies, and sometimes you're going to make some off movies. Some of the best actors and actresses in the world have made some absolute atrocious movies. They're not all going to be bangers.
George
So you do
Clooney's
that,
Batman was, not great.
but also you get
Don't tell Eddie that.
they have to be solid performances which will stand the test of time and will be iconic.
Iconic.
You know what I mean? And then it's like you build up that kind of history of they have more hits than misses, and that
That's a
kind
good-
of and then the final part was just, Jose literally took the words out of my mouth. A lot of the people we like would have been cancelled for stuff that they've got involved in outside.
Yes.
Like we mentioned that guy last week about the OnlyFans or whatever like that. Would he agree with it or not? Like, he's effectively getting cancelled. So like
Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Robert Downey Jr. for just his drug use. Like, yeah,
Well,
it wouldn't
that
be
too, yeah.
like he could have maybe never had a comeback as well. Like there's a famous comedian Bill Hicks. He's long passed away now, but there's a clip of him. I believe it's him on a Tool album called Anima, and it's kind of just a little clip of him doing a stand-up comedy routine, and he's talking about America's attitude towards drugs, and he says, you don't like drugs, you think they all should be illegal, they think they should be all gotten rid of. And he's like, right, well, if that's what you feel, you should go home, get all your vinyl, get all your CDs, get all your paintings, get all your movies, and burn them, because all the people who wrote that stuff and created that artwork real high on drugs. And that was the whole punchline. Like, so like a lot of those people like would have been like back in the day got away with that, but maybe now they get cancelled because they're involved in drugs, or cancelled because they don't agree with someone, or they're cancelled because they dead name someone,
And they're so exposed by social media.
They're so
Like
exposed.
that
Yeah,
Star
exactly.
Wars,
And-
like that Star
yeah.
Wars lady, what, Gina Carano, I think.
Yeah,
is that
Gina Carano,
her
yeah.
name? Yeah, and that was not fair. I mean, my thing is like this: is that again, Tim Allen is a very staunch Republican, but I enjoy his acting. So when I go there, I'm not going to a movie for a political rally. I'm going to a movie to see a good story, and just like just like Shane was saying, nobody's going to pay money to see The Rock do Hamlet, but they will pay money to see him in an action star because that's his wheelhouse. And I accept him for who he is in that wheelhouse. I know when I see most of those movies, I will be entertained. But, if I want to see good acting, I'm probably going to stick to, your Portmans and your Zendayas. I mean, because I tell you what, Zendaya, she has done for her young age, she's done some pretty gripping she's had some pretty gripping roles, and I hope that we see more actors like her, Issa Rae and other people. But yeah, stay away from social media. Don't let them cancel you.
I also think, Shane, something you mentioned there really stuck out to me, just in terms of this whole conversation, which is like, don't be short-sighted when you think about these people and their films, because you're right. Some of these actors who are so well known now, it has taken them decades to be that household name that they now are. Now we have the benefit of social media or the detriment of social media, depending on how it actually works for somebody, right? Whereas before, if you were in a couple good movies, you would start to become more of a household name as you went along, and it would take a long time.
And Ben,
I think instant gratification. Thing.
Yeah, I had seen a thing on
these days.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I had seen a thing on. I'm sorry.
You go.
Okay.
No, you go. No, you go.
No, you hang up.
Yeah. I seen this thing about Keanu Reeves where they were talking about how, we all know that he's a big star now, but he struggled a lot in the very beginning because, he was a valley boy. Nobody really knew where to place him.
Surfer dude.
And it took him a while to kind of break through that. So yeah, most people are gonna have stinkers in the beginning. You take a role because you want to work. Absolutely. And you got bills to pay, and you hope eventually will lead to something else. So yeah, I don't try to be too hard on most people when they're doing their best to make their way in the world. Absolutely. And a lot of people have had to do things that they would rather have not done just to be able to put food on the table and have a roof over their heads. So,
Well said, Classy. Well said. Guys, great conversation. Thank you so much for participating there. We do have one more piece of entertainment news I do want to cover. And then we got some 6-scale stuff that I definitely want to get your takes on, everybody, as well as everybody in the chat. Thanks for sticking around with us. We got 30 to 40 people kind of watching live at the moment. Love you guys. Definitely appreciate you here getting nuts with us on a Sunday. Happy Easter. Hope you're eating that chocolate for me, because I can't eat chocolate and stream at the same time. It would get really messy. Guys, this is a bit of a somber piece of news, but I do think it is worthy of mentioning. This gentleman here passed away this week. Let me get his name up here. It's Chance Pedromo. Now, I'm not super familiar with this actor, other than the fact that I recently watched Gen V, the spin-off show from The Boys. And he was one of the main stars in that television show, my apologies. And at first I wasn't sure I would like the show at all, to be honest. I was a little bit worried it was going to feel kind of like a soap opera version of The Boys. And it ended up blowing me away. It's had some of the best social content to kind of dive into, while it also still making sense for the characters. I thought all of the actors did a great job, including Chance here. He passed away.
A lot of cock as well, Ben.
What's that, sorry?
A lot of cock as well.
There is a lot in that show. Not the reason I liked it specifically, but fair.
Cancel
True.
Pete. Cancel Pete.
Cancel Pete. But this young man, he passed away on a motorcycle accident this weekend. Wow. That is just devastating, because we're talking about we were just talking about literally Hollywood actors trying to make a name for themselves, trying to put food on the table. This person was really just obviously starting to hit his stride in terms of stardom, really early in his life. Definitely lots of potential for him, and taken too soon. So while I don't have a lot more to say about him, because I didn't see him in much, I know he was in Sabrina as well. I didn't see that show, so unfortunately I can't speak to that. But sad news, and I don't mean to make Let's Get Nuts somber by any stretch, but I think it is worthy of paying our respects there. Shane, did you have any thoughts with regards to this?
I watched Gen V, and I would say that The Boys and Gen V are some of the best TV shows that I've seen out there in the last few years, just doing it right. And I suppose a bit skeptical of spin-offs. Would it be good or whatever, but it was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the standard was as high as The Boys, to be honest. And I thought this guy was great in it as well. So it's really sad, because this guy's no age. He's late 20s, I think. So it's sad. Time's the only currency that matters. So don't waste time watching those weird poo movies. Spend it on the things that matter. So rest in peace, this guy. X-Men Supreme says, that's the worst. No freedom in the world like riding a bike, and to die that way, it's shitty, but also it's kind of nice to say you went out doing something you loved. Hopefully he would feel that way for sure. What are your thoughts, Pete?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Gen V as well. Again, I wasn't sure, but then I gave it a go, and it's hilarious. It's got that same kind of real shock factor that The Boys has, and I did enjoy it. And again, it's a real shame I didn't realise until just now that when you said it that he'd passed away. But I suppose it just proves that we're all human, and even the biggest actor in the world can still think normal shit happens to them. And obviously, we're just more aware of it than if it's people that kind of aren't well known. But yeah, it's a shame, and anyone losing their life that young, it's a terrible tragedy, and rest in peace.
Absolutely, well said, Pete. Classy, Jose, either of you guys, any final thoughts there before we move on?
I think everything's been said. I just think it's unfortunate for any young person in the prime of their life to be taken away so soon. So I certainly have all the best wishes for his family and people who are surviving him, and hope they will find ways to make it through. Rest in peace.
Yeah. And if you guys ride a motorcycle, just be extra careful, just be extra careful, because it's tough, it's tough to go out that way. So
yeah, well, and like you said, we're all varying ages. It's one of the things that I like most about connecting with you guys every week is that I get to see my friends every week. I get to see all the friends in the chat that I have, but also it's literally a recorded log of our lives. Like anybody can go back to all the years that we've been doing this YouTube stuff and take a look at our us as people. Just
it's fun. I never thought of it like that. That's quite a nice way of we have a record out there on
Yeah,
it's quite nice. Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, if your channel is inactive for a certain number of years, it gets shut down.
Oh, right.
Oh, really?
Well, collecting weekly will go on forever. We'll have generations of.
Yeah, they're like Hydra. You cut off one head.
Yeah, exactly.
10 more will grow in its place.
Yeah, that's right.
You know it, man. You know it.
Well said, and rest in peace to this person. I hope he finds that peace, and hope the best wishes, of course, for his family and friends, loved ones. Guys, let's move on to something a little bit more exciting. I wanted to pop this up really quick to get started on the 6-scale news, because I'm sure that most of you have seen this slide now from Nix_collectibles. He's become the new reissue, the Mark 46 guy, I think, on all of the Facebook posts that exist out there. And I wanted to shout him out because it takes significant effort to put this much work and time into getting this post on absolutely everything. So to you, Nick, respect for sure. Do you guys feel like this is as big of a deal as Nick feels, though? Do you, now seeing kind of these two side by side, seeing what the movie should look like versus kind of what we're looking at getting from actually Hot Toys, are you hoping that there's an upgrade with this before it's released, or do you feel like maybe that's more of a symptom of this just being Nick's favorite character and not really being necessarily even newsworthy? Like, you could be happy to see this in Hot Toys form and be able to move on to the next one. What are your thoughts, Jose, on that?
Man, this is a long. Me and Nick talk about it all the time. I definitely know where he's coming from, and looking at the comparison shots, he has like screenshot after screenshot after screenshot of all these, images of the black suit from Spider-Man 3, and how the offering that they have currently is definitely just a reuse of the No Way Home body and most likely the suit, just probably just different fabric. So the pattern looks almost identical. So there's definitely a lot of improvements they could make. I don't think they will, but I'm hoping that this effort that he's doing will have them notice. I know JC Hong liked his post, so that's something, right? So we'll see. I mean, I would love that to happen for him specifically, because I know how important it is to him. I don't think this is one I'm going to get either way, but it'd be great if they actually listened. It's rare, but sometimes they do, right? So,
absolutely. Shane, what would be the one figure you would go down this rabbit hole that Nick is on, or this chase to make things improved? Is there a character that stands out in your mind that if it came out just so kind of not accurate that you'd be like, nope, I'm gonna pull a Nick here, I'm gonna get in every chat? What are your thoughts?
No,
not a single character that you love that much that you would go on the hunt.
I would mention it in videos repeatedly, so I suppose if that counts, but I have done so. The Batman Begins.
Yes, Batman Begins. That's a good one.
Batman Begins needs I don't know whether it's InArt needs to do it or Hot Toys needs to do it right, but yeah, best hopes at the moment is you buy one, hope for the non-glossy body and customize, but that's going to cost you, and that's what a lot of us are doing. That's what I've done. So yeah, I just don't think they listen. I think they rarely listen. We've had some examples like didn't work out in Joao's favor for Peacemaker, which was a win for collectors. We've seen it with who else did we see it with recently? They've made updates to the Robert Pattinson Batman to give the messy hair there. They did actually reissue the 46 minus the head sculpt. Every now and then you do get some good things, but then you have like the Doc Ock, they said they're going to fix that. They don't, so more often than not it's the prototype or a slight downgrade.
Well, and even the No Way Home suit of this Toby figure, I still don't have it from Sideshow. It's been paid off, and like it just feels like it's in limbo. Like I don't know when it's ever going to come. It does say to March now, so as of tomorrow, it's technically like delayed again past their time frame for me. But they did make the 2.0 for that, so I'm almost surprised that they are not updating this a little bit if the inaccuracies are there.
Yeah, that was good. And in fairness, like as well, like like obviously this is something that Nick is very passionate about.
Yeah.
He's gone to the trouble of comparing the two, the figure and the prototype, and the actual screen images, I presume, and he's identifying all the things. He's done a lot of the hard work for them. Like so, I mean, I can see why he wanted to do this and why he's so passionate about it. So like, yeah, hope they do.
Hope they do too. Pete, what are your thoughts on just collectors in general feeling this like critical of figures and accuracies and stuff? Like, is that something that you really support? Do you feel like sometimes we're too critical when it comes to accuracy of figures? Is there a character for you that you'd feel this way, like Nick does about this character that exists out there? I know you're a big indie fan and others, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I don't have any anything in this one. I'm not a big fan of the was it Spider-Man 3 and the suit and everything, but I fully appreciate that we are we have this conversation a lot. We're paying a lot of money for these figures. Minimum, like Hot Toys now, absolute minimum of £200 pounds up to 300. These figures just keep going up all the time, and I think that absolutely we should expect the very best standards for that. And most of the time, Hot Toys are very good. And I'm not saying that they ever get any figure absolutely 100%, but to me, as long as it's, to my eye, a good, great representation of what I feel that character to be, then I will let little things slide. So I don't think, like Shane said, I don't think there's any one character that I kind of would be. I mean, indie, yeah. No official licensed figure has ever done him justice. And obviously, we've only really had the old Sideshow ones and the Hot Toys Exo-6, which for the time was okay. It was all right. I mean, the head sculpt was not good. We've got the Dial of Destiny figure coming. I've got that on order. And for an old indie head sculpt, I think that looks really good. Yeah, possibly indie, but I don't expect any mainstream licensed figure to be anywhere near as accurate as the hundreds of custom runs that have been done at vast expense. You could pay. People have paid $800 for a jacket, for God's sake.
That's true, yeah.
So you're measuring it against cost against effectiveness. So it's good that Hot Toys are bringing some leather products in. But I think ultimately, if you're that passionate about a figure, you need to go down the custom route, and it could end up costing you hundreds, if not into the thousands. So I think with these, to me, it's like, is it good enough? If it's not good enough, I won't buy it, and it won't be in my collection, and I'll go down a custom route. I see no reason why, if they've got the source material to work from, why what they're putting out is so, from what I can see here, so vastly different from how it should be.
And Nick is so like detailed with this that even when he sent me this slide so I could talk about it, because I asked him ahead of time if I could share it and chat about it, so he knows, like, no shade against Nick by any stretch. I actually think this is awesome. If this is something you're really passionate about, buddy, if you're listening on the replay, do it. That's cool. I mean, I think that's good. He even said, like, even this comparison isn't perfect. There's still other inaccuracies he hasn't actually shouted out specifically here.
Going for the main points,
Main points, exactly. And, X-Men Supreme channel member says, this is the world we live in. The movie Spider-Man is too short. The movie Spider-Man is too short. The comic Wolverine is too tall. It's a damn shame. Seriously, though, I've never been happy with the scale of any comic Wolverine. And I know Wolverine would be that, that character for him, right? And let us know, guys, in the chat, is there a character out there where you would feel this passionate about hitting Hot Toys with some, with a little bit of spam there, right? Like, we need change. What's the character in your life that you would do that for? Guys, let's move on because we still have quite a bit of news that I want to cover. This popped up this week. The Jazz Inc. Batmobile from Batman Forever. And this is a picture done by the YouTube channel Figurecraft. Now, Figurecraft was on with us last week. We had a really good time with him here. I know he's off with his family today for Easter, but he said it was cool for me to share these photos. Honestly, I just wanted to share them because they're badass pictures. Not only is it really well taken, I love the color work that he's done here, and it's really highlighting just how freaking cool this Batmobile is. Now, I'm sad Eddie's not here because I know Eddie would have really liked to talk a little bit about this. Batman Forever is one of his, passionately favorite, bad films, I want to say. Right? I'm the same way. I love this movie myself. It's a nostalgia punch. I didn't go in on the Jazz Inc. Batmobile. I really thought about the Keaton one, but I could not figure out where in this apartment I would put something that big. But seeing this reminds me of when I was younger. I had this Batmobile. I want to say it was Playmates, but it would have been maybe a different company at that point. But it lit up as well. Let's take a look at C. This might actually be the one that I had, to be honest.
This is my really awesome. Messed up, played with old version school. Of it.
Yeah. Old school.
Yeah, and I remember it used to light up and all that too.
Yeah, I think that might be the one that I had, dude. That's awesome. This is really cool. So yeah, shout out to Figurecraft for letting us use these photos just to quickly see this a little bit. I'm hoping this ends up on like Jazz Inc.'s website, to be honest, to kind of feature how cool these things could actually look. But Pete, do you have any thoughts on the Batmobile here, or even just, of course, Jazz Inc. Now that you're starting to see some of these come into production and put out?
I'm really impressed with it. I'm not a massive fan of the design myself, but I think one, it looks incredible, and it was always going to look great because of all the lighting and stuff within it. It was always going to have a presence. And actually, I'm really surprised it's out already. I didn't realise they were that far along with production on this one. It seems like it's kind of come through really quickly. So yeah, congrats if this is your Batmobile and your Batman. I have a little bit of a guilt. To me, Batman Forever is a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I think it's got some of the biggest stars of the day. They really threw the money on screen. With Kilmer and Cole Kidman,
Jim Carrey,
Tommy
Lee Jones.
Yeah, I mean, all massive stars at the time.
Drew Barrymore.
So it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. I mean, Batman and Robin, beyond Arnie, there's not a lot I can take from that. But Batman Forever is okay. I don't mind it. And I quite like the soundtrack when it first came out, and but this car looks fantastic, and it's this Jazz Inc. puts out some fantastic products. They'll cost you a bit, and I know Shane's kind of he's dipping his toe in with the 89 Batmobile, and I'm sure that you'll be nothing less than blown away. It's nice. It's good to see. I've got the Falcon cockpit. I think you've got it as well, Jose, and it's a masterpiece. It's probably the only Jazz Inc. piece that I'll ever own. Maybe if he did an X-Wing cockpit at some point, might pick one of those up.
That could be cool.
Yeah. But no, again, well done, Yoast. Another great release.
Absolutely. I wonder if they will do anything from Batman and Robin.
All right, everyone, chill.
I don't know. I don't know if they
I
will.
believe he wanted to do it. He wanted to finish off the movie Batmobiles first,
cool.
and then he put it up for a vote. But the animated series one won, so
Yeah.
that's why he went with that one. But I think he wanted to, and I think he if they go down, they eventually will do it. But
I suppose the issue with that one is we haven't got figures from that yet. Oh, we haven't got a Clooney Batman, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would be curious to see the Clooney Batman. I think I would actually still buy that in Hot Toys form because I still would want all of the Batmans that I can get my hands on. This figure specifically, it's a beautiful figure. It does have probably the worst posability of any figure that I actually have. Like it's really difficult to pose at all. But it looks really good next to the Batmobile. It even looks really good next to Throb in there. So I think that's all good stuff. But Shane, does this get you a little bit more excited for your Jazz Inc. purchase that you recently made? Now seeing some of these photos in hand of this particular car, or doesn't really change much for you? You were excited either way.
It doesn't change much for me, but it's still, I have to pay attention to it because at the end of the day, after paying off the 89 and the VAT and the shipping, it's it's $2,000. That's it. It's just $2,000.
it's a lot of money.
I've no interest in this movie or this particular car, but I'm glad it turned out well. And I am looking at the feedback from people who've got it, like Calvin and stuff like that, and seeing what they're saying about it. Because if they're happy with it, therefore the company that's making the car that you are interested in, kind of hopefully they continue this. Like, because if this was a train wreck, it'd be kind of going. Oh, it's a bit worrying, isn't it? So yeah.
It is a lot of money to spend, so to take the chance on it if it wasn't.
And that's one of the reasons I didn't really go for it, because of the price. Like if it was in the Hot Toys range, I probably would have gone for it. You saw I have that version of the Batmobile. I'm not as huge as a fan as Eddie, but I'm up there with him, and we have conversations about it a lot. So I think there's a lot of good stuff in that movie that I really enjoy, and that's what I grew up with. So it's nostalgic for me. So it's something that I'd be interested in, but for that price tag, that's one of the reasons. I mean, there's also obviously spacing, right? And where I'm going to put that. So I thought about it. I'm like, well, which one am I going to go with? And if I do get one, I probably would get the 89. So that's kind of where I'd be leaning towards. But this looks really great. And these photos by Figurecraft, man, these are beautiful.
We need a Chase Meridian figure. I'm also excited to get that Mars Toys Riddler that's coming. I can't remember what the Puzzler, or I can't remember what the heck they called it, but very excited to get that one.
I agree with what Jose was saying about this looking great. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this particular Batmobile. I mean, personally, I think it's a little over designed and has it could have been, they could have removed a few things that would have never been missed, and it would have turned out just as perfectly. But it looks great with all the lights. I mean, that is I mean, and Jazz Inc. always does a magnificent job. While I would have liked to have had the 69 Batmobile, I'm still holding out for them to make me a Mark V from Speed Racer. That's what I want. So they do that, I'm all in. But the Batmobile, this is a beautiful piece that they made. I'm impressed.
It seems like. Go ahead. No, I was just going to mention that. Go ahead.
We're so bad today. Sorry, guys. You say it first, then I'll go.
No, I was just going to mention briefly. So it seems like there hasn't been a lot of QC. The only thing that I've been noticing is the magnet. So the scratching of the magnet part, where the canopy, they have to magnetically open it. So there's been scratches on that. That's the only thing I've been hearing.
That's fair. No, and good thought there as well.
I did hear Yost say, make sure if you get this 95 Batmobile that you read the instructions, and he specifically mentioned something about opening the canopy. So the issue may be that some people aren't
a little bit of user
reading
error there.
The instructions.
Yeah,
so if you have it and you haven't unboxed it yet, or where you haven't read the instructions, maybe that will save you the scratching. But then again, I don't know, maybe it scratches anyway if you do it right.
Very quickly then, you just made me think of it, Shane. What figure have you read the instructions for? Like,
listen,
unquestionably.
Ben, don't catch me on a technicality. I sit down, right, I put the kettle on, and I read not just in English, but then I read the Japanese and I kind of make it up as I go along, to be honest. But yeah, no, genuinely, like, would I sit down and read the entire manual? Of course not. But if I'm looking at an accessory going, no, that's not something I've done before, I'm not sure, I will absolutely open up the instructions, because there might be some little thing that I'm supposed to open before I click the thing in. For example, case in point, did you not take a look at the instructions for those Wolverine arms, Ben?
Oh, 1000% I did, because I thought I was
There
going to
you
snap
go.
that shit right
There you
off
go.
at the elbow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Even some of the older figures say like that, maybe for some, if I don't have the, let's say if the box is up in the attic, I don't want to go up and get the instruction manual out of the art box. Just Google, like, Hot Toys MMS 238 PDF instruction. It comes up and takes you 2 seconds, and you might save yourself breaking a figure. So yeah, I would definitely.
So true. And it wasn't even meant to be a call out question. That's the funny part, because the one that comes to my
I'm
mind
ready
is
for it.
Doc Brown.
Give him
Doc
come.
Brown was me. I when I was like filling his like tool belt and everything,
Oh,
I wanted
yeah.
to make sure I put everything in a way that like displayed right and everything.
Yeah,
and
you had to,
connecting
yeah.
the wire onto his bag and like power his pouch and stuff. Like I was like that. I 1000% read the instructions on that, and Iron Man figures. Anytime I have decided to put batteries in, sometimes like they do a good job of hiding those compartments. So like if you don't want to be pulling shit off your Iron Man unless you know it's
Fact.
supposed to come off.
Fact.
So something to consider there as well. But all well said here. I want to shout out this comment from Ryan Dean. He says, the lighting setup and overall layout and presentation of Figurecraft's collection is next level. One of the best collection tours out there. Dude is absolutely killing it. Well worth the watch. And I would second that point. We watched about a half of, maybe a quarter anyways, of his collection tour last week when he was on the show. And it was really, really cool. So if you guys have somehow missed that collection tour, make sure you go over and subscribe to our friend Figurecraft there and take a look through his collection, because it's very, very cool. Guys, let's move on to this one. This popped up, the So-So Toys. I'm going to call him Mr. Knight, because I don't remember if there was an additional name for it.
I think that's his name.
Mr. Knight? Perfect.
I think it is.
We're finally seeing some final production photos of this figure. And I gotta say, like, I think So-So absolutely crushed this figure. This looks fantastic. Not only does the cowled look really good next to the Hot Toys one that's clearly in the back there, but also the Oscar Isaac, right? Yes.
Yes.
I was thinking Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac. The Oscar Isaac head sculpt looks really good. For the production, I'm really impressed by this. Even this, it looks like maybe you could put that head sculpt in or on the figure with the Hot Toys. Maybe it would require some customization.
I believe you can. Yes, I think yeah.
That's cool, because that, you know what, there was a scene still, at least one, if not two scenes in the Moon Knight show where he's wearing the outfit, but his cowl is kind of taken back, and you can see his face. And so I was surprised Hot Toys never actually gave us a head sculpt for the figure, but if this can work in combination with that, I think that's an absolute win. So-So Toys crushing it on this one. Jose, what's your thoughts now that we're getting a chance to see some final production pictures here of Mr. Knight?
Looks good. It's not something that interests me. I actually did not like the show at all. It's like probably one of my least favorite Marvel projects I've ever seen. I just thought it was a chore to watch. I think there was one or two good episodes, I think, personally, in my opinion. So I just did not dig it. But also I wasn't very, like, I didn't grow up watching or knowing a lot about Moon Knight, so I don't have that attachment to the character. So when I watched the show, it was kind of just more of a, just watching it just because it was the new MCU content, and so I didn't really vibe with it. But in terms of the figure, aesthetically, it looks really good. I think it looks, you see right there, you can use the head sculpt on the Moon Knight figure that you already have for the Hot Toys version. So that's definitely a plus to getting this. And I think the price wise, because it's third party, so you can definitely save a few bucks with third party, which is also nice if you do like this show. These are two separate entities, right? Two separate versions. Two separate characters. So in a way, you can pose them together. So there's a lot of pluses for collectors that have the already Hot Toys Moon Knight figure that are already released. So I'm happy for those. Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect you to rip into the Moon Knight show so hard. I hurt my feelings a little, but I really liked that show.
I did not like it, man. Sorry, man. It was a chore. It was.
Something dark side.
I actually did enjoy the show, Jose, but in university I studied for my major in psychology, I studied dissociative identity disorder, and so I always thought that the science of the brain was really interesting, and I thought his portrayal of kind of his multiple personality issues that he has were done very, very well. I thought that there were some drag parts for sure, and I didn't love the final boss battle thing. I thought,
that was so bad.
I didn't love that they kind of went
bad.
kaiju on that. I didn't love that part, but I did like the show overall, I will say.
Era basura.
I don't know
Trash.
what that means. Okay.
Bad.
I'm not going to pretend to be like, yeah,
you got
exactly.
me talking. You got me talking Spanish now, man. It's
If
just
you look
really
closely, you can see Jose's Sith eyes changing.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you got me talking Spanish now, man.
Well,
So.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Classy Thomas, before we skip to the next one, buddy, any thoughts on Mr. Knight here, or even just So Toys here, kind of what they're putting out for us? What are your thoughts? I got you muted, I think. There we go.
Yeah, I feel like So Toys has been consistently, well, I mean, for the most part, I have yet to get a really bad So Toys. Now, I've had a few that weren't my favorite, but I've come to rely on them to make a product that I can be proud to have in my collection. And seeing these two figures next to each other, I mean, I don't see a big difference in quality. I feel like the So one looks a similar quality to the Hot Toys.
Good point.
And I think that as a result, they would look very much at home together in the case. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about Mr. Knight. I will be really interested to see if he arrives before my Moon Knight does, because I'm still waiting on Moon Knight.
You're still waiting on a Moon Knight? It's a great figure, dude. It's a really, really cool figure.
So I'll be looking forward to both of them. But yeah, I mean, and looking at these photos, I mean, these look really, really impressive. I'm more excited having seen them now because they look really great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we got X-Men Supreme here saying, I bought the Hot Toys Moon Knight partially because I ordered Mr. Knight. And Mr. Knight plays almost as much of a role in the show as the Moon Knight in his gear does as well. So I do agree with you, Classy.
I also purchased the Khonshu.
Nice.
That was made by the other one, so that's
cool.
I mean, if I once I get that in, that's cool. I'll put them all on display together. Yeah,
I love that, and I love to see Oscar Isaac getting some love here. By the way, in figure form,
they called him the Gentle Moon. That's what they called him.
Gentle Moon. Interesting. Not Mr.
Not
Knight.
the Gentleman. Okay, the Gentle Moon.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gentle Moon.
Thanks for that clarity, good sir. I am happy with this. I did have this one ordered and I canceled it, and now I kind of wish I hadn't canceled it. So I may now try to find it, and of course it's going to be getting hyped and be way more expensive than what I was originally going to pay for it. You hate to see it. Don't waver on your decisions, folks. Let's be honest here. 12-inch Moose Stream says I ordered Khonshu too. Very, very cool. Guys, let's move on to the next one.
Wait, hold on. Shout out to Moon Knight's mom. She probably hated Moon Knight more than me.
Wow. All right, you're canceled after this show. I hate to say it.
For those who saw the show, you know what I'm talking about.
That's awesome. 12-inch says it's still on Lion Rock Toys. I better get over there before I miss my opportunity. We got 40 people watching. That's 40 possible pre-orders ahead of me. You hate to see it. So, guys, this was an interesting one that popped up this week. We got the Artisan Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Jack Sparrow. And it's interesting for me because this felt like a very whirlwind announcement. We got it kind of teased, just like this, and everybody started talking about it in the 6-scale community, right? Everybody's like, oh my god, we're getting another Jack Sparrow. This is awesome. The last time we had a Jack Sparrow was the DX-15, and that was back in 2017. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't that long ago. And then I realized 2017 was actually 7 years ago. So I'm like, okay, fair. That's actually a pretty long time, but that DX15 is still a very popular figure out there in the figure world. Like, people are still chasing it to this day. I thought the likeness on the Johnny Depp there was still really good, and that DX15 technically has the same outfit that we're seeing teased with this photo. But then the very next day, we saw the pictures go up for Jack Sparrow here. And it was a confusing release for this guy because, a very quick story, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. These, in Canada here for me, these pop up and I'm like, sweet, I'll make a video on it. See if I can get one out there first, right? Just for fun. Well, I ended up doing a video until about 3:30 in the morning because, of course, they take way longer than you expect. Got all the way into bed and then realized that I was looking at the deluxe sculpted version the whole time. I didn't even look at the artisan photos in the whole video. So I had to then go get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, and edit for another hour to add my piece about what the artisan looked like, because I honestly didn't even notice that there were that many that released all at the same time in terms of photos. So if you're going to make videos on the internet, be careful, because honestly, you guys would have made so much fun of me, it would have been ridiculous. Having said that, we're looking at the artisan on the left side and the deluxe sculpted on the right hand side. And I keep seeing the memes of like tell me where the difference is. Obviously, the difference is in that cloth material around his head, and there's more rooting in terms of the actual hair sculpting on the back side specifically. But otherwise, I think both of these look amazing. The likeness to Johnny Depp here is phenomenal. The downfall for me here is that this wasn't my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean film, unfortunately. If we got a Black Pearl version like we saw with the Exo-6 back in the day, I would have liked to see that. Having said that, they are talking about, in Disney, actually revamping Pirates of the Caribbean altogether. So this might be the last opportunity for collectors to get a Johnny Depp in their collection, if they've missed it in the past. Comes with a couple really cool pieces, including potentially a die-cast sword. I don't know if I've actually read that yet, but the previous version did have die-cast weaponry. There is leather materials on both the boots and the belt, so I'm happy to see that upgrade, as well as, of course, some of the other accessories here. The LED light-up lamp, obviously batteries, not corded, like I did make that mistake in my original video. And the wheel, or the helm wheel that he comes with, definitely looks like a reuse of the DX-06 helm wheel. They're virtually identical in their photos. So they've been able to do some reuse. They've been able to give us some upgrades. I do think the likeness upgrade is definitely there. But for me, the last piece that I wanted to say, and I'll let you guys talk next, is the very next day after we saw these photos, they do this shadow release through Sideshow. There's only supposed to be 4,000 of these artisans available. They didn't really tell anybody that they were going to do this shadow release window for pre-order. So I was in the middle of a work meeting when that link went up, and I completely missed it. I got on there about 30 minutes after the window was open, and I was number 4,800 or something crazy in line. So I decided to get the deluxe version because it still looks really, really friggin' good. But I gotta say, as a collector, I felt a little frustrated by the fact that they released that window in the middle of a work day, and I missed the opportunity. Woe is me, you snooze, you lose, I guess. You gotta have more friends in the 6scale community. But that was a lot. That was a lot from me. So I want to go to you guys first. Shane, I'm going to actually start with you here, buddy. What was your experience seeing this from kind of tease to roll out to shadow window drop? Did you pick one up yourself? Tell us your thoughts on this.
Nope, didn't pick one up. It looks absolutely incredible, in particular the artisan version with all the rooted hair and braids and dreadlocks. Even the dreadlocks look absolutely filthy. They actually look really like proper dreadlocks. The more I look at it though, I'm starting to see how obvious the difference between the material bandana and the plastic version. Kind of reminds me of I had the battling version Spider-Man from Spider-Man No Way Home, and there was kind of a half-mast sculpt which I thought was really cool, but it was plastic, and you did the material difference from the plastic half-mast head sculpt and the suit, it's fairly obvious. One's plastics, one material, so it does actually kind of stand out. And just this photo here does actually highlight it. I think it won't look you know, obviously you're not going to notice that if you don't have the Artisan next to it, like, you know. So for those who got the DX, I still think it's phenomenal looking. Like, I think the price point difference is quite big between. It is substantial between. There's about a $200 price difference between DX and the Artisan. You really are paying top dollar for that. The rooted dreads and locks of hair and braids and the bandana. But yeah, I had no interest in it. I've watched these movies once each. There's 5 of them. I watched them all. I did enjoy them, more so the earlier ones. He's the best part of the franchise in my opinion. But no, not a movie that I needed, or a character I needed representation from. I think with the system, quite simple. If you got it, you're going to love the system. If you don't, you're not going to love the system. I have, I suppose, the privilege of being kind of nonchalant about the Artisan so far, because they have the rooted Joker, of no interest. They have the rooted In-Art. They did the rooted Anakin, no interest, don't collect prequels. This, not a figure I was ever going to collect, and the Wanda might pick up the sculpted, but not interested in the rooted. So I'm kind of in a kind of position where it doesn't really affect me. If they do, I know, an Artisan Terminator, rooted hair, whatever, then it will affect me. But I still don't think I'd go Sideshow. I think I'll reach out to Lion Rock or some other reputable Hong Kong based reseller. I know people are doing that already, with not with Lion Rock, but with I've heard collectors going to other Hong Kong based resellers and getting the Artisan one as well. And I'm not talking about, like, you know, the shady ones or whatever. Like, so yeah, look, time will tell. But I do remember a time not so long ago when everyone was complaining about the lack of exclusivity and the lack of limited figures, and the fact that no matter what you bought, the value was tanking, and it wasn't that long ago, and no one was pre-ordering because you knew if you got something and you pick it up, you get it in a bargain bin, bros, just 6 months later after release, and that was great. But now they're kind of trying to make some sort of an attempt at kind of going, okay, you can still have the DX version, but the top version that is limited, it is limited. Not everyone's going to be happy with it, and no matter what they do, Hot Toys Sideshow, they're never going to keep everyone happy.
That's a good point. That's a really, really good point. Now, I did steal from Collector Joey. Shout out to Collector Joey over there. Make sure you follow him if you have not already. His channel's being very successful lately, especially with his Copper Drop show as well. He posted this slide just for the pricing, and that's what I wanted to highlight as well here, because the Artisan, while now we've missed the opportunity, if you wanted an Artisan, if you're watching this show now, that window is closed, they're sold out. You can put yourself on the wait list, but it's hard to know if it will convert for you at this point. The Artisan, though, coming in at $560 with shipping, whereas the regular DX one comes in at $376 with the shipping, and the standard there, or collector edition, comes in at $332, which I think is a mind-blowing difference. Pete, I talk a lot with the Collecting Weekly guys about price conditioning, because for me, I've worked in sales for a long time, and you know, when you're trying to make a consumer buy your product, if you work them closer to the price you want them to pay slowly over time with price conditioning, it's a lot easier for them to justify that price. Artisan has given Hot Toys a license essentially to charge some pretty big dollars for this, but when collectors miss out on it, they go, don't worry, we're still giving you 2 other SKUs, and look at how much more reasonable that price is. So it's not as tough of a nut to swallow. Hey, you know what? You still get a Jack Sparrow in your collection. But I remember a time not that long ago, I'm thinking almost 2 years ago, which is, again, not super long, in collecting especially, that $285 was a shocking price tag for folks. Now $285, $290 is like, oh, that's pretty reasonable, because we're starting to get used to these higher and higher price points. Hano, which we talked about last week, Pete, the Magneto and the Wolverine. You know, we talked about margins, and we talked about how with 6 scale, clearly the margin, you can reduce it quite a lot and still be clearly profitable on these. So how do you feel about the price differential here of Artisan versus the other two? And did you have any level of experience with this figure released this week on this character?
Yeah, so just to start with, it's a great figure. I think if you haven't already got the Exo-6 or the DX-15, absolutely brilliant figure. I've kind of so I got the DX-15. I wasn't a fan of the base on that, so I like the fact that they've gone back to the wheel. the little bit of the sea and stuff's not great. But the one that came with the DX15 had like the zombie shark and stuff like that. It didn't really work for me. But the figure is fantastic. The likeness is amazing. I've never really been a fan of the smirking one, but the serious faces, to me, is, if not the best, one of Hot Toys' very best. And with the movable eyes, you can just really get some great Jack Sparrow expressions. So, and you get so much stuff. So let's talk about the deluxe version. I think at the price you got there, that's probably around the £300 mark in the UK. I think you're getting a lot for your money. I know it's today's money. It's a lot more than you would have paid for the older versions, but I think it's a great figure. You can do so much with it. I like the lamp, stuff like that. So let's go talk about the Artisan. I think I was quite shocked at the price of it, and obviously the first impression I kind of get of pricing in the UK is on the Facebook groups. And there's a couple of like groups on there that are resellers, and they can get stuff in early. And yeah, I think people were paying, I think, about £530, which is probably $650. And on top of that, they were estimating that the shipping would be £70 to £100 extra. So you're probably somewhere around $700, $750. And I was shocked at how easily people were kind of just saying, yeah, go for it. And to me, I don't think the routing is worth that much extra. Let's be reasonable here. Most of the time, we're not looking at these figures through a macro lens or from up here, and most of our viewing is done from possibly 4 or 5 feet away. And I think for me, the previous DX15 version with the mix of the sculpted hair and the fabricated hair, it's good enough for me. And I'm not saying that the Artisan isn't amazing, but for me, I wouldn't pay that huge. I mean, I plan to change the bandana on mine. I've just never got around to it. I've got the material. I think that makes a big difference, to be honest, because the plastic one does look very plastic. So I think there's things you can do to the cheaper versions that would bring that level of accuracy higher. But I'm very surprised at how quickly people are finding that sort of money for a single figure.
Well, finding that kind of money and also having it shadow drop in the middle of a work day without much notice at all. I mean, we only just saw the preview images the night before, so it was kind of like, holy crap. Like, not only is it a big chunk of change, but you better be ready to have that chunk of change ready, because otherwise you're going to miss out. Like, there's only 4,000 pieces if you wanted the Artisan one. But I agree with you, too, that I don't feel like there's a huge differential in these two photos. Like, when it's on your shelf, is that worth a couple $100 difference for folks? I mean, for some it is, right? For some, they want the most premium version, right? Pete, like, if this is deemed the premium version, that's what they want in their collection. But it's a big differential.
Yeah, and I think from my point of view, what I've seen, it's more or less twice the price that, getting it in from one of these groups into the UK, you're probably twice the price. And I'm not really, I've said before, I'm not really a fan of these. One, the way that they go about you trying to get hold of it, and also, I'm not really into limited numbers. I feel that's a statue thing, and it's bragging rights and all that kind of thing. I don't like that. I think, and for Hot Toys to do that, why not make 20,000? Because they still sell out. I think they're kind of like shooting themselves in the foot, really, because I don't think that the main reason that people are going for it is its limited availability. Some will be, but people are obviously prepared to pay for what they perceive as the increased quality, I think. But yeah.
Absolutely. Well said, Pete. And 12-inch Moose Stream says here, They only took NRD on the Artisan. I think you could put a payment plan on it. Unfortunately, it was sold out by the time I got there, so I can't confirm that myself, but fair enough. Classy Thomas, did you have any experience with this figure this week? I know, obviously, you were a part of Collecting Weekly as well. I think you may have even been on Wednesday night with the boys around the time that the initial pictures dropped. Is this one that you got excited about? Did you feel disappointed if you missed the drop? What are your thoughts there?
No, not really. I wasn't really intending to get it. I mean, it's magnificent. I mean, it seems like each one that they released, people are saying this is probably the best sculpt that we've seen Hot Toys do. And it's going one after another. So they are definitely going all in on producing these really nice looking head sculpts. And when you were mentioning about how the Artisan and the Deluxe were side by side, until you mentioned the headband, I was like, where? I mean, I'm sitting here looking back and forth trying to figure out what's different. I mean, they really do look very similar. And for a $200 price difference, I don't know that if I were going to get it, that would justify for me to get the Artisan, because it looks like you still are getting, maybe they're doing mixed media with the sculpted version, like maybe you get some sculpted braids, some hair braids, some matte. I mean, because the hair, I mean, it doesn't look like,
it's just the shiny doll hair rather than the lamb's wool. That's all. Yeah,
right. So I'm not at all I'm not disappointed, being as I wasn't planning on getting it, but I'm very happy for all of those who are getting it, because it looks like they're going to get a banger for their collection. So I'm very happy for them. But that's hot.
Jose, do you think that they did the stealth drop so that it wouldn't crash the servers like we've seen with some of the past ones? Or do you think that was kind of a non-factor? Maybe it was because we were going into a long weekend and they knew they didn't want to make this wait until after the long weekend. What are your thoughts for the reasoning that they gave us this shadow drop? Any thoughts there?
I have no idea. I mean, I didn't know about it either until Mario put it in like a group chat that we have, and he put it out there that he had got a text. I'm like, I didn't get that text, but I jumped on. I had like 3 browsers, and I was able to get it. So I have no idea. It's possible. I mean, who knows? Who knows why Sideshow does what they do, right? Only they know. But so I have no idea why they did that. But there was a lot of people in there, obviously. So a lot of people got the information quickly and were in the queue. Absolutely. So I also think, it was the shadow drop as you mentioned, but a lot of people, like for example, me, I was kind of like, I had told the guys with Shane and them, I had told them, I was like, I actually initially wasn't even looking to get it myself, because I was like, the deluxe looks so good, I'll just get in the queue just to see if I can get it or not, and I was like, I'll offer it to somebody if they want it more than I do. So that's kind of why I jumped in there. But I had a sense of relaxation. I think X-Men Supreme was mentioning that he had a very similar feeling, because I just felt like, well, if I don't get it, then at the end of the day, I can just get the deluxe and it's not a big deal. So that's what was great about it. So I think it bothers me less because I had the option, but had it only been the Artisan and nothing else, then at that point, I probably would have been upset about it.
That's a good way to look at it, to be honest. And again, because I didn't even think that, well, as I said, I made a 2.5 hour video. I made a 7-minute video that only took 2.5 hours to make before I realized that I wasn't even looking at the Artisan version. Like, how dumb am I, right? But like at the same time, the standard deluxe one does actually look really freaking good. I'm excited to get that one in the display. I also got the deluxe base because I think that is a base that I actually would like to display, and with the wave and the helm wheel, I think that could be very, very cool. Got a couple great comments here. Collection Obsession, one of our channel members, says, if you missed out on Artisan, just get on the wait list. I initially missed out on the Wonder Bros 100 Wonder Woman, but surprisingly got her when my wait list converted, which is awesome. We also have our man collector Joey here in the chat saying, "Getting nutty on Easter." I see, Joey. I was just shouting you out because I used your pricing guide here on the internet. So thank you for letting me steal that from you without asking permission. Please don't copyright me on the channel. I love you, buddy. I appreciate that. So, but no, very, very, very helpful. And then of course we got Feezy's Figures here with us as well, saying, "Hope you're all having a good weekend so far." Any final thoughts there, Jose?
Yeah, I would actually, I would call out Marco, Ben, because Marco told me he had the Artisan and offered it to everyone, and everyone said no, so he gave it away. I mean, he actually canceled the order. So, Ben,
Marco doesn't like me. He's told me he keeps telling everybody this. Nobody believes him because we look the same, I guess. That's what I'm told. I don't see it, but so, no, I love that guy. You know what? I was sad I missed out on the Artisan. All the other channels keep saying, as long as you have collector friends, you'll never miss out. And I'm like, I've got no friends. Nobody told me this was up. I was in a business meeting. You hate to see it, guys. Let's move on. But great thoughts there for sure. What did X-Men Supreme says? Honestly, I would have been happy with the DX. Looks incredible, and I do actually prefer the lower volume of hair, but I'm still doing that Artisan. Yeah, see, getting the Artisan is it's a flex. I get it, but they both look really, really good. This one I won't get much of the panelist take on it because I know you guys are not huge Star Trek people, but I do keep an eye on Exo-6 news for the Star Trek folks out there. Our buddy Nanjin Tam, one of the developers there, the main developer over at Exo-6, has posted here that this is now the third try for Jadzia from last year and current O'Brien from last night. Now, he says women here are difficult, so we're still working on her. We're trying to make O'Brien forearm realistically, but as mentioned, we need to match our MSRP to the most general audiences, and Trek market is very, very price sensitive. And I agree with honestly all of those points. While I haven't traditionally always got along with Nanjin himself, I do love the Exo-6 product overall for the most part. They have some hits, they definitely have some misses, and I know you guys have heard my takes on that if you're part of the Star Trek part of my channel anyways. I do have a thoughts video for absolutely every Exo-6 figure that comes out. So if you're just getting into the Ben Thomas Show, if you're new to the channel by any stretch and you're a Star Trek person, definitely go over and check all of those videos out as well. I actually think if this is the third try for Jadzia, they've nailed it. I think this looks phenomenal as the prototype. The one thing that I'll say about Exo-6, for better or for worse, is that their prototype is pretty much always what the final looks like. There's very rarely a downgrade, but there's also very rarely an upgrade. So again, it's kind of for better or for worse. If it looks like shit on the proto, it's probably going to still be that way. The O'Brien I'm not as sold on, unfortunately. I do love Chief O'Brien as a character, and of course we recently had the announcement of Dr. Bashir from Deep Space Nine. Chief O'Brien is Bashir's best friend in Deep Space Nine, so if you're a big Deep Space Nine fan, you're probably really excited to see that an O'Brien is coming. And you could put him with your Next Gen line, or of course you could put him with your Deep Space Nine line. Deep Space Nine is not a porn. Don't think that way, folks. It is a Star Trek, okay? Backdoor Sluts 9, you hate to see it. It's Deep Space Nine, but both of these are exciting little teases. Yeah, that's, oh my god.
But Ben, what's the name of the dude? This figure?
Like the actor's name or the figure?
The character.
He's Irish.
O'Brien. Chief O'Brien.
Yeah. For some reason, Chief O'Brien looks like he kind of looks like he's pooping out eggs. He looks a little comic.
He's the Easter Bunny.
He is
he's the Easter Bunny.
Oh my god.
He also plays a pilot in Die Hard 2.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
They weren't very friendly with his neck fat there though, eh? That's a very unflattering.
No, he's the copper in Con Air as well. Gets his AC Cobra.
Yeah, his car, yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome though. He's awesome. So I'm excited to see that he's on the way, and they've been teasing Jadzia for quite some time already. So we'll see there. Action Figure Academy says the Bashir head sculpt is kind of trash. I'm surprised you feel that way, only because I actually think it's still significantly stronger than the majority of all the Voyager figures that we've seen. But art is definitely subjective when it comes to that. I would say that the Deep Space Nine line, I don't think they're getting the A squad, the A team, unfortunately, in terms of artists and sculptors, but I don't think that they're getting the D team that Voyager got. I think they're kind of like the B or C level. But because Deep Space Nine is such a popular show with the Star Trek community, it is still pretty cool to see these characters being made. And Bashir is a very big character in Deep Space Nine, right from the very beginning of the show.
I think they saved the D team for 7 of 9.
Oh my god. You'll love to see it. Pete, any final thoughts here on this release, or even just Exo-6 as a whole?
I think the Jadzia looks good. Cole Meany's been done a disservice there, I think, with his, as you say, with his double chin there. I think, I think he is an important character because obviously he spans, 2 series, Next Gen and Deep Space Nine. I think I'm just really pissed off with Exo-6 at the moment, to be honest, because I don't know if I wasn't sure if you could have it on here, but they put out some bad news about the Rotha Khan figures that apparently there's going to be a massive delay because Nanjin is just so obsessed with this monster red uniform that they have that he wants the exact colour. So he's waiting for samples to come from China and all this. So he's saying that the Savick release, which I haven't pre-ordered, wasn't bothered about, is going to be delayed by 6 months to a year. And then obviously that pushes back the ones I do want, Kirk, Spock, McCoy. And I just think, like, I don't know when these figures are ever going to come. And I'm sure that when Nanjin first started Exo-6, he said he was going to be done in 5 years. And then he was going to go off and build churches and hospitals and stuff in his local community. Well, we must be 5 years in now. And
I don't think it's that long quite yet. I think we're probably
not far off.
2.5, 3 though.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that these the original series figures and the Rotha Khan stuff just is never coming, I don't have any interest in collecting any of the Voyager or Deep Space Nine or anything like that. It's all for me is the original crew, and just to not have anything. I know we've had the Kirk and the Spock from Motion Picture, but they were a bit of an oddity. I just feel like I've lost a lot of faith in the company, to be honest, to deliver what I would want them to deliver.
It's too bad too, because unfortunately there is a huge Star Trek community, fortunately and unfortunately, and for those folks, other than QMX from years ago, there hasn't really been much Star Trek in the 6 scale universe or zeitgeist. And so when Exo-6 came to fruition, it was extremely exciting. And then there's obviously, with every company, there's ups and there's downs. But you're not the only one feeling that way. Whenever I post an Exo-6 video recently, that's very much the common consensus of well, this is nice, but where's this figure or where's that character? The problem with Star Trek, though, is that it's a very large cast of characters in every one of the shows. However, it is weird to me that they've chosen characters like Neelix over prioritizing things like
he's deliberately holding back, and I don't know why. And I think when he's questioned on it, he gets very uppity and a bit aggressive. So I'm a patient man, but I'm kind of starting to think, well, actually, if they come along one day, great. But I'm not actively kind of following Exo-6 anymore.
Absolutely.
Ben, Collection Obsession said that they hope that seamless forearms come for O'Brien, and it just made me think that Worldbox and there's another company make seamless arms, and if this is a standard body, you can actually purchase those, and it should be able to clip in and fit, because they will actually, those seamless forearms a lot of times will fit other figure bodies other than Worldbox. So that may be,
that's a good thought,
an upgrade.
Worthy of trying.
Say what?
Definitely worthy of trying.
Yeah,
definitely a good thought. Absolutely. And I will say, for all the heat that I give Exo-6, I got a Locutus of Borg in my collection, and that's one of my favorite episodes of Next Generation. 2 episodes anyways, and I love Locutus, so I'm happy to have him. But there are lots I wish they would make. For sure. So, guys, let's move on to our final topic of the day here before we get everybody back to their Easter Sunday, of course. This news came up from Hot Toys this week. It says here, the power of the dark side is beyond comprehension. Hot Toys will unveil a new touring exhibition certain to seduce all with the taste of power. Star Wars, the power of the dark side, shall open its doors this April, and none shall remain uncorrupted within its walls. In the cities of Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, the Philippines, Shanghai, and more, all who enter will be granted an audience with the icons who have shaped this era of shadow. How many of these characters can you recognize? And this has been floating around for a couple days here now, because this is actually some pretty exciting possible news here. We've known for a little while that Hot Toys had teased kind of the dark side line, or the power of the dark side kind of characters coming. We've got a lot of Darth Vaders already. We've got a lot of Darth Mauls already. And even Kylo Ren, we have quite a few Kylos at this point. The other characters here, though, are a little bit more exciting. So, for me, I think Starkiller is the one that stands out the most. I thought that was a really, really cool character. If they are going to give us all of these, the Starkiller would be probably the one that I would buy first. But at the same time, I also wonder if Hot Toys is kind of teasing this a little bit and not necessarily going to give us all these characters. Revan is in there as well, which is also, I think, the other most exciting piece, for me at least, of this illustration.
Who's that old chick? Who's that old chick in the bag?
Oh, Emperor Palps, and I wonder if we're going to get a Palpatine or Emperor Palpatine.
Palpatine, is that?
Yeah, it's the Emperor.
Amidala's mama.
No,
related to Amidala?
No, I don't think so. No. Are you fucking with me right now?
Amidala, isn't her last name doesn't start with
Palpatine?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Padme was her first name.
Okay, Padme. I'm sorry.
Okay. I thought you were messing with me. No, that's the Dark Emperor. The Sith Lord.
Is it a woman? Because it looks like a woman.
No, it's definitely not a woman. No.
No.
He's really wrinkly though.
No,
he's been electrocuted.
Oh, okay. Oh, so there wasn't a woman emperor. I mean,
no.
Well, there was in Empire Strikes Back, when you see the Emperor on the hologram, that was a woman playing in them. But
that's true, actually, buddy. That's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is a good fact.
You're not wrong, but I think you're kind of
We need to get Classy Thomas to watch all of the Star Wars movies, and then we'll get his take on more of this later.
It looks like an old woman back there. I'm sorry.
I love that, buddy. You're so funny. That makes me happy. Shane, what are your thoughts here on the power of the dark side tease? Do you think we're going to get all these figures? Do you think this is Hot Toys pulling a fast one? Maybe we'll get one or two of them. Where do you think that we got this image of Revan and Starkiller as well? Like, are they actual figures that exist, or is this just like screen grabs? What are your thoughts?
Do you remember when before the Flash came out, they teased that big Flash Michael Keaton armory with a underwater Batman and 1989 Batman and 1992 Batman and the upgraded one? We didn't really see any of them, did we? So, I mean,
that's true.
I suppose that could happen here as well.
Absolutely. Is there anyone that stands out to you as one that you're like, ooh, I would want that in the collection for sure?
Nope. Vader, two Vaders on the way. And
two Vaders, yeah, me too, actually.
So
in fact, I feel like I have too many Vaders.
I don't think they're going to do another Vader now, because there's two up for pre-order at the moment, and then
that looks like the Kenobi Vader in this picture too. Sort of cut you off, Shane.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to do. They might. I think they're going to do a Maul, but I think they're going to do a Maul like 2.0 as part of their 25th anniversary of Episode 1. What I think is going to happen here, this is either going to be just, as Eddie would say, a nothing burger. This is just the Power of the Dark Side festival in Shanghai. They get people in and they showcase the Kenobi Vader and their Emperor that they've done before, and their Dooku they've done before, and their Maul, and then maybe they give us like those. Do you know what I see on the left? You have the Inquisitors, you have Reva and the Grand Inquisitor who are released, and they give us the other one that they're actually teased. Maybe that's it. Maybe those ones are. I say they're the most likely ones to come out. But if this is a line, what I think what they might be doing is, for example, episode 1, they do another Darth Maul. They brand it with that 21st anniversary of episode 1. It is a 2.0, but they put another tag on it as well, going Power of the Dark Side, and that's how they do this as a series. Do you know what I mean? So there's like, that would be something I could see them doing. Like, so no, I don't think we're going to get everything here. The ones that everyone seems to be concerned about is the Revan and the Starkiller, which I know absolutely nothing about. I hope they do those ones, because everyone seems to be crying out for them. So I hope those people get what they want, but I'd be very skeptical of them 2.0ing everything here. And they're not going to do another Vader. They've two out there. Why would they? I can't see them doing another Kylo. I can see them doing a Darth Maul, but I mean, I think the ones that everyone seems to want is that Starkiller and Revan. So
I thought maybe Darth Maul with the spider legs. I also was thinking maybe they would do a Phantom Menace Darth Maul again, just for the 25th anniversary, just to get that tag of 25th anniversary on the box. Yeah. But maybe it's hard to say. Revan is a really cool character, and I love the look of the character. And Starkiller is also
a series. Amazing, so. Like, like there's like a line, like The Mandalorian season 1, and then there's like a line for Empire Strikes Back at 40th, and there's a line for Return of the Jedi. Well, it's 2 for Return of the Jedi for the 40th if you don't count Han. I don't think this is going to be like a line with a specific box for the Power of the Dark Side. Do you get me? So I think this is just either a showcase and that's it, or maybe they do a few of these and they don't even put the Power of the Dark Side on the box. It's just like branded, whatever it would make sense for them to be branded.
That makes sense. Pete, what are your thoughts here on this tease? And thanks for your thoughts there, Shane. Well said, good sir. Pete, what's your thoughts on this tease? We're seeing an Emperor Palpatine in the back there. We're seeing Vader. We're seeing Darth Maul. We even see Dooku off in the corner there. Is this an opportunity for Hot Toys to give us some reissues, or do you think what Shane is saying is that they've salt and peppered in maybe a couple new releases in here with figures that we either already have or have already seen, just to fill out the photo?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? I think, again, like Shane, I'm not really a kind of know too much about the expanded universe and stuff, so I hear people raving about Revan and Starkiller. I mean, I guess they're the ones next to Vader and Kylo, are they?
Yes.
Yeah. Who's the one that's got the purple lightsaber?
In the back, it's not a purple. Sorry, that's Revan on the left hand side, and it's on the Kylo side, that's Starkiller.
So has he always been purple? Because I always got the impression that Mace Windu was the only purple one.
No, Revan has 2, I believe. I think he has a purple and a red.
Okay.
I think you can see them there if you look closely.
He's got,
doesn't he have 2?
He's got 2.
Possibly, yeah. So I mean, I don't. This doesn't particularly excite me at all, because the only ones that I would be interested in, I've got an Emperor, I've got several Vaders, I've got the sideshow Battle on Naboo Darth Maul, which I think is a great figure. I might possibly be interested in picking up if they did a reissue one, maybe. Dooku I've got. I mean, a lot of people would be happy if they re-released Dooku, because he kind of goes for quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm a little bit lukewarm on this. It's kind of a little bit of a damp squib for me. I'm more interested to see some more teasers for the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary. Oh, and I've booked up to go and see it at the cinema with my son, so I'm quite excited about that.
That's cool. I think I might take myself, honestly, to see it again.
Yeah,
it reminds me of being a kid for sure. So that's
we're going in 4DX, so I'm really looking forward to the pod racing section.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and I'm hoping this turns out to be something that's exciting for everybody, right? Like, I know, like you said, a lot of collectors have been asking for Revan for a while. A lot of collectors have thought Starkiller was great. I'm shocked. I know he's not a dark side character, but I'm shocked we never saw Cal Kestis from the video game. It's weird that we got that trooper from the video game, but like that was it. Like, that was really super weird and feeling like a missed opportunity. Hopefully we'll get maybe a live action Cal Kestis at some point and then get a figure that way. Like, it's hard to know, but because I can imagine the next video game is probably a few years figures away, if at all. I don't know if they've even announced that they're doing another one yet at this point. All cool characters. Dooku is actually the one, I think, for me on my list of these figures here that I would be a definite skip on, which is kind of funny. Like, I've seen him float out there for high pricing, but I've never totally loved that character, despite him having the really cool lightsaber. I really like his
Have you seen Tales of the Jedi?
No, I don't think so.
Watch that.
In that. Okay,
Watch that.
That might change my mind.
100% will change it. Yeah, and it's only a mini arc, so you watch maybe it's like 2 episodes, and you kind of see him before he turned, and you kind of see his connection with Qui-Gon Jinn and all that. So it's your perspective on Count Dooku will completely change.
Yeah, and also it's a great sculpt. It's one of Hot Toys' strong sculpts, and I think for me, I always wanted to have a Christopher Lee in my collection somewhere. In the same way that Tarkin to me is as important as having a Peter Cushing, because they're both legends of the screen. And so Dooku's a great character, but he's not worth the £350 that he was going for. I welcome re-releases just to kind of stop that sort of crazy.
Agreed. Well said, boys. Well said, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another Let's Get Nuts Sunday. I want to shout out the Tough Nut crew here once again. We've got Elvin J, Collecting Weekly, Money Mendez, 6 Scale Mafia, Katera, Feezy's Figures, King Dingaling, Sith Scale Collector, Paul Schreiber, The Batman, The Movie Canon, 1/6 Figure Focus, SpongeBob Square Balls, The Empire Strikes, Peter Cass, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, 14 Wellington, Jose G. Hernandez, 12-inch Moose Stream, Collection Obsession, Blurred Dad Life, Danny Spotchka, Rachel Miller, Honest Hansel, Action in the Box, Figurecraft, Neilerific. We now also have Action Figure Academy. We also have, one moment, Don Maton and X-Men Supreme. We have crossed the threshold of 30 channel members. So guys, if you are watching and you're a channel member amongst those 32 people, please make sure you guys are here next Sunday. We will do this King Shark giveaway that day. I think we'll probably do a duck race or something along those lines to make sure that it's very fair and very transparent for everybody. You do need to be here for it though, if you can be. I would really like to give it away to somebody who's active in the chat. So guys, if you guys do you guys think that's fair? Like, if to expect the folks to be here? I think that I think that's only fair.
What's a duck race?
There's I've seen it on some of the other channels where it's literally like a program where you can put in all the collectors' names, and it's like a big pool, and then it's random. It's like watching a horse race but with ducks, and whoever wins wins. Now, of course, you can if you win and you're a channel member and you want to gift it to somebody else, you absolutely can, or of course you could take it. I am here in Canada. Most of my channel members are kind of all over the world, so please allow me to have a couple days to get that out to you guys once we've got the winner.
That was sort of a weird flex.
Yeah,
I've got fans all over the world.
No, I do. It's cool. That's one of my favorite parts of YouTube. I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
If you guys want to become a channel member, please don't just do it for the giveaway. Hopefully you're doing it because you like the show and you want to contribute. But of course, there is the link in the chat there for you guys as well if you're interested. You do get the badges beside your name while you're with us here on a Let's Get Nuts Sunday, and all of the different progressions that you see there as well. And then of course, some of the custom emojis. I'm always adding emojis slowly over time, so you'll see more. The most recent was of course with the Ghostbusters news and the Ice movie. What the hell is it called now, Jose? Tears of the Kingdom? No, that's Zelda. Yeah, there you go. Frozen Empire. the Ghost Nut Buster. You love to see it. Emoji there as well. But guys, of course, with my panelists here, 1/6 Figure Focus, what's coming up on your channel, good sir, that we can look forward to from you over on 1/6 Figure Focus?
Well, first of all, thanks very much for inviting me on or allowing me to be on. I do appreciate that. I'm trying to add some slides here, but it's a bit slow. So, there it is. Okay. So I'll just go through this. So I tried this out yesterday, and Ian aka H and Silver Fox gave me a hand with this. So this live stream is up on the channel. I haven't seen anyone do this before. This is a live collection room tour. I've definitely seen people turn their cameras around and show specific pieces, but I don't think I've really seen anyone do that before. But I thought it was going to be a disaster. It actually worked out quite well. Thank you to Ian H and Silver Fox, who monitored the chat and helped me with moving between normal screen and full screen and stuff like that. So it's up there on the channel, folks. Went live last night, so it's a live collection room tour. It's literally a exactly as it says in the tin. So yeah, if you get a chance, maybe you'll take a look at that. Upcoming streams, then a busy week or two coming up. Got the Hope Show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. East Coast or midday West Coast. So if you're around, yeah, we'll be doing that. Out of the crypt, I've got KG collectors. I've started doing reissues or 2.0s of Visions episodes where sit down and have a chat. Usually you sit down and have a chat with a collector and discuss the past, the present, and the future in their collecting journey. And I've started doing a few reissues, basically bring someone on and saying, okay, this is where you were, how have things changed in the last year or two. So I had Graham from the Jedi Knights Watch on. KG is going on, I think it's this Wednesday. It's all scheduled there.
My entire life fell apart after I was on Visions last time. I don't know if I'd want to do a reissue.
I think maybe you're in a better place now, Ben. Maybe. You know, so yeah, definitely come on. What are the odds of it happening twice?
That's right.
Yeah, Mario then this Saturday, and then Thursday week. It's a strange time. It's like 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Yost from Jazz Inc. is going to be coming on. And we're going to have a chat about all things Jazz Inc. So
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks very much, Ben. Do appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for being here, buddy. We appreciate you. You're back to teaching this week, right? So we won't see you next week at this point?
Another week off.
Oh my God.
Living the dream, Ben.
It is living the dream. Pete, anything coming up with Only Fools and Collecting over at Collecting Weekly there, good sir?
Yeah, it's one of those rare occasions I can actually say we've got a show next week. We're still on the monthly schedule, but yeah, we're going live on Thursday next week, 8:30 UK time. I'm not sure what it is the rest of the world, but you know where we are. If anybody wants to come on, give me a shout. I know Class, you're always up for it if you're about. Yeah, and obviously we've got quite a packed show because we're only doing monthly. We'll cover some of the stuff we've covered here, but we'd like to give our a unique take on stuff. We don't pull any punches, and always good fun streaming with Ian. So yeah, come and join us this week if you can.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you so much for being here again as well.
A pleasure.
A pleasure to have you, buddy.
Yeah,
for
enjoyed
sure.
it, mate.
This is for you, Pete.
It's good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you.
Love it.
And then, of course, Classy, because you were, I didn't know if you were screwing with me on that Emperor bit there or not.
No, seriously, I don't know these characters, but yeah, I swear to God, I stared at it the whole time you were talking. It still looks like an old woman to me.
I love it. Classy, this is for you, okay?
No, you complete me.
I appreciate you, buddy. Where can we find you this week? Are you going to be on Collecting Weekly again?
Yeah, I'll be on the Wednesday night after dark, and I do have some. Well, I've been actually working on getting some figures done, so that's kind of cool. I just haven't filmed anything, so if I can next step get to film and do some editing, then hopefully maybe we'll be seeing some content, because now I actually have some things that I can actually display, because can actually show you, because I have been working on some projects. So proud of myself on that.
Good job.
So got part of okay. I've got one step done. Now I just got to take another step.
Yep.
And soon I'll be walking out the door.
Very nice. Thanks for being back here, buddy. We always appreciate you. Like you said to me before, you're my Vince McMahon. I can always rely on you, and it's a pleasure chatting with you every single week, buddy. You class up the joint, and I look forward to many, many more. Jose G. Hernandez, while we give each other shit in the chats and all of the life, I love you, buddy. Thanks for being here today. Anything coming up for you, good sir, that we can look forward to?
Well, usually Mondays with Shane on the Hope Show, so we'll be there on the Hope Show on Mondays. Usually I'm on there when I don't work, so usually there on Mondays. Nothing other than that. That's it. I mean, I was on Evil Sneakers channel for the Collector Tour. If you haven't seen the episode, check that out. It's a good episode. We had a good conversation about a few weeks ago, so if you haven't caught it, definitely check it out.
Absolutely, Evil Sneaker's doing some great stuff over there, and he's a very generous guy. He's already done a couple giveaways, and so I need to actually try and keep up to the generosity of the community out there at large. But hopefully the giveaway goes well next week. Make sure our channel members, you guys are there. Jose, always a pleasure to have you here, buddy. Thank you so much for that. With the 30 people still watching live, everybody to watch on the replay in the coming days and weeks. We've been getting about 800 to 1,000 views every week, which is a lot of people watching Let's Get Nuts. So guys, I definitely love your faces. I appreciate you guys so much. Classy Thomas, with that said, we got nuts. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.
Where should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.